Let's go.
인생 경기 하고 있거든요.
진짜 올킬 바로 눈앞이거든요. 누가 먼저요? 누가 먼저요?
승부는 모르는 거야.
네.
해봐야 아는 겁니다. 마지막 한 장 플레이오프 티켓을 잡습니다.
We can get together.
Welcome everyone to Clash Royale League Asia. We are in the playoffs. Day number 2 begins now. Yesterday was pretty crazy, and I can't wait for more. I'm Paper Thin. With me today for the first time this season, Simon. Welcome aboard, my friend.
It's about time I got to cast with you after everything you have said the last few weeks about me having negative effects on ending life. I'm so happy to be here just so I can set the record straight.
I'm kind of tainting him, like turning him against you on the side. You know what, man? No, really, it's great to have you. This is going to be a lot of fun here today. Yesterday, man, that sandbox, that Sato performance was something else. Him taking down kicks by himself was unbelievable.
We've seen all season that Sato has had this like wanting to win more and play more. Yesterday, he finally achieved like an orchid. He was just dominant in his performances. But then OG and Entus happened, kind of cut Sandbox a little bit short. But OG and Entus, they are a scary team right now.
Really, really scary. With TNT and Dandelion, especially in 1v1s, they look unbeatable. I mean, you've got TNT, who is just a master of consistency, plays very well, and then Dandelion, who I call the mad genius because he just comes up with stuff sometimes that's just really good. Quick overview of our format, right? It's the playoffs now, so we got 2 weeks of this, and then the finals, November 2nd on Saturday at 7 p.m. First place, 50 G's, 50 big ones for that. Second gets 30, and everybody's going to come away with a little bit of money for making it here. So now we're over to group playoff.
Playoff group 2.
Yeah.
Yep. All right, so
and then there's group A and B inside of this group.
Yeah, let's just stop talking about groups here. It gets a bit too confusing. But if you haven't seen the format, we are doing double elimination. What this means is even if you have a bad night or the team you play against has a fantastic night like Sandbox Gaming yesterday, you have a second chance to make it to the finals, to make it there and finally win a trophy for your team.
I really, really like this format a lot. I think this should be considered the standard for competitive Clash Royale because some days, things just don't go your way and you deserve a second chance to kind of figure things out and turn it around. We see this in a lot of other esports, so this is perfectly normal and great because it really does give you that sort of time to really prove yourself because Clash Royale is kind of a game over time kind of thing.
Yeah, we can see on the left-hand side, OG and Entus are on the winner's side. They did defeat Sandbox Gaming last night, but today's match is on the right-hand side of the screen. We have Valve Gaming, one of the best teams in Clash Royale League Asia this season, versus Chaos Theory, who've had a very up and down season, barely making it to the playoffs. And then we have OPGG Sports, DragonX, two very solid teams.
I mean, there's so many really interesting things going on here. Valve Gaming absolutely dominant in 2v2 versus Chaos Theory, who has gotten here a lot on the heroics of Benza Rydell. And then you've got OPGG Sports, where we have the reemergence of the Expo Master. He is seemingly starting to find his way back against DragonX, who is a stacked lineup, especially when they get to King of the Hill.
Yeah, it's really weird. Like, DragonX weren't starting the season as strong, but they definitely came back into their own.
All right, let's take a quick video, guys. We will be back. And we are ready for the first match of the day. Fav Gaming, the masters of the pre-show routine. Give it to us, boys. All right? Okay? Still trying to figure it out? Yes. Not bad.
Look at the death stare there by Danny, though. He's like, guys, look at this. I got some guns on here.
Chaos.
But nothing is showing. Nothing is showing. There's nothing there, folks.
Chaos Theory, not sure what to do. Embarrassed in that part. Here we go. They have been my only A+ so far with their little arm waving thing they did. This one not bad. We'll give that a solid B. All right. Coming into this, I mean, we can pretty much expect what these lineups are going to be, more or less. The real question is going to be the 2v2 for Chaos. What are they going to go for? Ooh, look at this little ranking graph. Look at this. Fav Gaming absolutely exploding. And I pointed this out to you. Between last season and this season, Fav has not changed rosters.
No, they haven't even changed where people are playing within their team. And look, they go from 9th to 1st. They have been so dominant in this second season. Whereas Chaos Theory, you know, last year they weren't that great. Then they had those 2 seasons of just pure excellence. They came 3rd in both. Couldn't quite close it out. And this season they came 4th in their group, and they haven't been as strong as Season 2 2008 Chaos Theory, Season 1 2019 Chaos Theory. They've been a shadow of themselves.
Yeah, it's really been a lot of fun to watch the emergence of Fav Gaming as this, look at this, 9-1 in their 2v2s. That is absolutely disgusting. I don't know.
You ready for some quick math here?
Go for it.
That's 90% win rate. Yeah! Okay. Honestly, they have not experimented at all with their 2v2. Every 2v2 has been Kensumeshi and Kitashian. Their decks have been phenomenal. Just overall, that 2v2 being number 1, the next best, I think, is 70%. They are just outstripping everyone together.
It's really amazing to watch them and Ponos. They're just excellent 2v2 teams. And it seems like Japan really has a good read on the 2v2 meta. So it's going to go back to JTV and Trainer Dexter's here in the 2v2 for Chaos Theory. And there's going to be the Giant Skeleton and the Tornado ban. So that's pretty much a standard kind of 2v2 ban we see these days. And then, of course, Jack versus Benzer Idel. I mean, we just knew that was going to happen. There was no doubt.
No doubt at all. The Giant Skeleton ban, if people are wondering at home, like, why would they ban Giant Skeleton? Why not ban Witch? It's because in 2v2, Giant Skeleton is just a ridiculously strong defensive card. It's very hard to break through a Giant Skeleton, especially when it dies. You can just throw something small in there, skeletons, stick everything inside that bomb, and you've wiped out the push. You can get some great elixir trades that way.
Yeah, it's just such an unbelievably powerful unit, and you know, it's good because everything gets bottlenecked around the bridge, and then everything's like you're talking about, getting funneled into that bomb. Whereas Witch, something like that, has counters. You can lightning it. There's a few other things you can do. It's a lot easier to counter, I should say, and there isn't a punishment for taking care of it like there is with the Giant Skeleton.
Exactly. You could, like, we've seen a lot of Mega Knights actually being used in the tournament so far for 2v2s, especially in the recent weeks since the last balance update. We've seen Ram Rider, Mega Knight, Witch. We've seen Hogs. We've seen Royal Hogs quite a bit, so that's why Mega Knight is also appearing quite a lot. We have seen the occasional Balloon Freeze and Graveyard Freeze, but, you know, Mega Knight has had a resurgence in this last update. He is pretty much everywhere in 2v2.
He's crazy good, and you're seeing the P.E.K.K.A.s being worked in from time to time to kind of counter that. You'll see with the teams like yesterday, I think it was when Sandbox was facing Kicks, they brought it, or I can't remember, but somebody brought in a P.E.K.K.A. when there was all this Mega Knight action going on, and that turned out to be one of the biggest differences because it's such a favorable trade there. Game number 1 starts now. Chaos Theory versus Fob Gaming.
Yeah, Fav Gaming, great record so far. They have kind of dictated the 2v2 meta in Clash Royale League Asia. They've played Hogs, Earthquake, Giant Skeleton, Freeze. They've played Balloon Miner with Freeze and Mega Knight, Wall Breakers. The Ram Rider deck was ridiculously scary that they've been playing. So let's see what they bring today. Mega Knight played at the back, confident that Lumberjack would clean up those Wall Breakers there.
Yeah, really nice placement with that Lumberjack. You don't take any damage, and there's that Witch that we've been talking about. Now, what does Chaos Theory have for spells in their deck? Are they going to bring a Lightning here? A lot of players kind of are starting to favor it again because it does really good against that Witch, and Snowball Fireball takes out the Witch there anyway. Poison's great against the Witch as well because then she's just one hit from death.
Yeah, Valkyrie there to take out the Wall Breakers, but she doesn't do it. 2 connections onto that tower. The Witch was played on the left-hand side, so she couldn't even help out. If she did, we might not have seen a connection, but 1, 2, 8, 6 remaining on that bottom right-hand tower, and we see a Miner and Balloon coming in on that left-hand side from Fav Gaming.
All right, there's nothing else available, just a Baby Dragon to defend, so this is a ton of damage from that Balloon. 2 drops plus the death damage. Now, Wall Breakers on the bottom right. The Princess Tower has locked onto the Miner, so that is going to be a dead tower on the bottom right. It looks like Fob is willing to basically sacrifice it. 38 left, but still, it's dead to rights.
Yeah, dead even though. 97 on Chaos Theory's top left-hand tower, 38 on the bottom right for Fav Gaming. We can see Fav Gaming now switching sides, putting that Witch on the right-hand side. They're like, okay, we need to start doing damage to that top right-hand tower because it's too even. Otherwise, we can finish that with any spell. There we go. Lug to close that tower. There is the Balloon. Fireball there. The Witch is going to basically try and... Oh, she's actually hitting the Mega Knight here. That's not good.
That's
Is it
okay.
going to connect?
Just enough time with that Goblin Cage to keep it off of there. Witch over on the left. There's no good answer for these Wall Breakers with the Miner taking it. They're going to get their damage in there again, along with a Poison to clean up that Night Witch. Or excuse me, just the Witch. She's not the Night one. There's no bats here. And this is really, really close.
Yeah, just that one connection from the Wall Breakers, I believe. It looked like the Princess Tower just finished the one. So this Balloon now, raged up, going towards the tower. There is still a Dark Goblin, and did get a little bit of damage in there. 1022 remain, down to 750 with the death damage. But that is not what you want to do. You do not want to put the Wall Breakers in the pocket in 2v2. Luckily, though, for Chaos Theory, they did manage to get that one connection.
Yeah, the timing is a little tricky there because if some of those other units that are coming on the right-hand side get locked onto by the King Tower, you can get it in there. But there's 2 cannons on there, so if they target the Wall Breakers first, not so great. A bunch of stuff being pulled around. Look at this Goblin Cage pulling the Balloon clear back on the other side of the river because Chaos Theory doesn't have a ton of great answers for the Balloons.
Yeah, beautiful placement with the Goblin Cage. We can see the Bomb Tower here doing work against those Wall Breakers, finally finding the time to play it. Now more Wall Breakers coming in. Is that going to be it? Baby Dragon is there. Lug is coming in, and that does it. Chaos Theory taking game 1 here against one of the strongest 2v2 pairing in Kitashian and Kensumeshi. Great work there by JTV and Trainer Dexters.
There just weren't a lot of great answers for the Wall Breaker Miner combo available for Fav Gaming. Valkyrie, yes, if the Princess Tower helps the Valkyrie, she can take out the Wall Breakers. But the Miner's there first, so the Miner is distracting the Princess Tower, so your normal counters to the Wall Breakers aren't as effective. Things like Valkyrie, E-Wiz, stuff like that, we didn't see an E-Wiz here, but they aren't as good because they're not going to take those Wall Breakers out fast enough where normally you can rely on the Princess Tower to help you.
Yeah, I'm just taking a look at the decks they've played together. This is, I think, the first time that Chaos Theory have been successful in 2v2 with Wall Breakers. So I can see why Fav Gaming wouldn't have been that prepared for it. You see, week in, week out, Chaos Theory bringing Graveyard Freeze, Ram Rider Mega Knight. They constantly play these kind of decks. So you prepare for that, and they just throw out the Wall Breakers here, and it worked for them. Fav Gaming just didn't know what to do, and they almost got 3 crowned here.
Yeah, and the only Yeah, you're right. The only real big counter to the wall breakers they brought was the bomb tower, but they saved that until the very end to bring that out. It just didn't feel like they were comfortable getting it in cycle. It felt like they wanted to keep the pressure on with the balloons, sensing that there weren't a lot of great answers for the balloons, but just enough from Chaos Theory to keep it going, and some good Goblin Cage placements to keep that balloon busy.
Yeah, do you think that Furnace would have been a better option than the bomb tower there? Because we know that when Furnace comes and those 2 Fire Spirits drop out, it does kill the wall breakers.
Well, Bomb Tower's a little nicer in 2v2 because it has that death damage now. There's a little bit more answers. Furnace is okay. It'd be really fascinating. You don't see much Furnace in 2v2, but now with the popularity of wall breakers, we're seeing it all over 1v1. And a lot of times the 1v1 stuff does end up kind of working its way into 2v2.
Yeah, exactly like this.
There we go. Now we've got the log.
Yeah.
But I was going to mention that there was no log in the deck either last time.
But the Valkyrie does decide to leave the Miner to his own devices. Just a couple of scratches, though. About 320-ish damage, so not too much, not too bad. But then Wall Breakers reapplied on the other side. There is the Bomb Tower to tank that, and that's going to help finish off that Miner too when it eventually decides to take it out. Does take quite a bit of damage again from the Miner, so Chaos Theory definitely starting off with a strong advantage here. Will they be able to carry it through to the end?
I like the changes that I'm seeing from Fav Gaming, though. An early play of the Bomb Tower, the log being brought. There's the Lava Hound as well. Kind of sensing that air defense wasn't so strong with Chaos Theory. Now they're going to try to take advantage of that potentially. Nothing but a baby dragon over there on the right-hand side so far, and a Miner of their own from Fav.
Do they have anything here to help deal with the Inferno Dragon once the Lava Hound pops? There is a zap. So it's going to take out the Mega Knight. Some damage done there. 1847 on the top right-hand tower. Inferno Dragon does get a couple of tickles in there. 1727 at the end of that. Good play here by Fav Gaming, looking much stronger this time around than last time.
Fav came out with a huge elixir advantage because Chaos Theory had to use that Mega Knight to tank the damage from the pups. So that was a huge win for them. You can see they were 2 or 3 elixir head each, and now they're able to just set up for another push like this. Now, the Knight, you know, the Witch, she's pretty good, man. She does so much damage now. It's almost a Musketeer's worth of her single target. There's the lightning.
Beautiful
I love it.
lightning.
Exactly what I was talking about. Lightning is fantastic.
Look at the damage the Valkyrie is doing on that top left-hand tower. Took it down from nearly full health to 771. And with that top right tower going down to the Baby Dragon and the Lava Hound, Chaos Theory are on a huge disadvantage right now.
This is the genius of Fav Gaming. They are so good at getting things changed up. And look, that log even gets both of those wall breakers. The other one survives that snowball there, and that Mega Knight going to be pulled away by a very nice Fisherman placement. Now you've got a huge push coming from Fav.
Yeah, that is a very scary push. You have the Lumberjack there to rage up the Lava Hound, the Lightning as well. That tower is down. Fav Gaming say you could take us in game 1, but you're not going to get the same damage done in game 2 because they have made this look almost too easy. They have made Wall Breakers look balanced.
Well, the log is so useful. The Bomb Tower as well, as you can see there, really taking it to those wall breakers, because with the log and the snowball, the wall breakers go down. You can use the Fisherman and the others to distract that Mega Knight, and there you go. Great change-ups from Fav Gaming here. Really smart stuff from them.
Yes, so they looked at game 1. They went, this is what's coming. Okay, we think they're going to play the same deck again. So if they do, we're going to be overly prepared. They had everything they would possibly need. This time they put the Valkyries in the right place, so even when the tower is distracted by the Miner, it's still going to get 2 spins before they connect. I think the last time they were 1 square too close to the tower, which meant it spins once. Second spin happens when they connect.
And they have the log available as well to help them just in case, because sometimes it can get a little weird with that Valkyrie timing. It's really challenging. She's one of the harder ones to get. Yes, she can solo stop those wall breakers, but it requires basically perfect timing to do it. And here you can see here, look at this. This Mega Knight, that is so much elixir lost right there. That is just too much on defense. These lightnings get tons of value.
Yeah, I was going to say that lightning value there was insane. I think that is what definitely caused that top right-hand tower to go down. Just so much value from the lightning. And again, lightning here just cleaning up everything that Chaos Theory had to defend. And then from when it's 2 towers down, basically all you got to do is start putting your miners in the middle of your own side to just hold the defense. Beautiful play.
Really, really nice. Lightning is so good right now. It does so much. It gets so many units just insta-killed. And with the Goblin Cage, you do have to be a little careful because you don't want to hit the cage with the lightning because that's just a complete waste of one of your bolts. But if you wait until the Brawler comes out, he dies. He dies to the lightning as well. So you just got to be good with your timings on it.
Yeah, you can also, if I remember correctly, you can hit the cage, hit something else, and then hit the Goblin Brawler at the same time as well.
Too. Yes.
That does require a little bit of luck, though, I believe, because you have to know that the cage has the highest HP. It'll go onto something else and then come back to the Brawler, I believe.
Yeah, it takes some pretty on-the-fly thinking to get that one to go, or maybe a little luck.
It's not worth the effort for most of these players. You just wait for the cage to go down.
Yeah,
get a little bit of extra damage onto the tower.
You want to do what's comfortable, what's easy, and this time looks like we're gonna soak up a little bit of elixir before we get going. Just some bats going to be cycled along with a Mega Minion and another Mega Minion. And now this time,
and there's the Wall Breakers.
Got their own Witch.
Yeah, but Wall Breakers again. Oh, it does manage to get one, but that's the thing about the placement with the Valkyrie. If you are ever so slightly off the center of that red line, you're not going to get both.
Oh, look at that. Great follow-up with both of their spells from both players to eliminate that Witch and the Inferno Tower. A zap is used. I don't know how much that's really going to help. 2 dropped from the balloon in the top right.
Yeah, you could see that Trainer Dexter's had about 7 elixir. Drops the zap, but doesn't have anything else that can help. He's already cycled out of his Mega Minion. He had nothing else there to defend. While JTV was sitting at 2 elixir, he had nothing there for that balloon. We see the raged up Miner now going to town on that tower. I think he might get it down to 153, so that is fireball range. That tower is considered technically dead at this point. There's the Hunter to take out both the Wall Breakers. Beautiful stuff here.
Yeah, really this time, Fav Gaming actually going back to more or less the deck they played in the first game, but this time their timings have been a lot better, a lot cleaner dealing with these Wall Breakers. They talked about it in between games and have figured out a new game plan. A bit of a scary push coming through here, but that Mega Knight, he's so popular as well because he's very good against the Witch, and it gets rid of a lot of those skeletons and also does quite a bit of damage with that drop damage.
Yeah, and the Mega Minion there taking care of the Baby D as the Mega Knight takes out the tower. Nice and easy here. Inferno Dragon on the defense will eventually chop it down, but damage is done. 1 tower down, but look how healthy Fav Gaming's towers are at this point. 1685, 2086. They're playing out of their mind defense right now, and the Witch Mega Knight combo is definitely helping.
Yep, some good snowballs in there, gonna clean up a lot of stuff. Now this Poison Miner is getting a fair amount of damage going here, so there is a bit of an opportunity in this last 30 seconds for Chaos Theory, but it's going to take one heck of a push, and they're gonna have to defend a massive balloon rush.
Yeah, Fav Gaming realized that things are getting a little tasty down on that right-hand side, so they have to start putting pressure on the left. They start doing it. Balloon, Mega Knight, all that starts coming in. They are getting a little bit of damage done. The bomb tower there, again, beautiful placement of the Lumberjack to catch the Miner. Freeze used to stop the Wall Breakers on the left-hand side, and that is murder, she wrote. Fav Gaming, 2v2, absolute gods. Kensumeshi, Kitashi, and Take a Bow, that is 10-1 this season.
I mean, it's unreal that a team can do that. I mean, we saw Ponos, of course, last season go undefeated. One of their duos went undefeated when it was Reiki Jones and Rad. They went undefeated in their 2v2s. But they didn't play every time. This is a team that has played every single time.
So just to put it out there, in terms of game score after today, Kensumeshi and Kitashian are 26 wins, 10 losses. That is a nuts record. If my maths fail me, which they will, that's around 75% win ratio.
That's crazy.
In terms of games, not just sets, in terms of games, somebody please nerf Fav Gaming. They are way too strong in 2v2 right now.
And they completely found a way to make the deck they wanted to use in game number 1 work the second time around. Really, really nice change-ups, better Valkyrie placement like you were talking about. Definitely a big part of it. They didn't even need the log in game 3. And they also were really good at predicting what Chaos Theory was going to do. They had a grip at the very end. They placed that Lumberjack right at the back near their King Tower because they knew a minor Wall Breakers push was coming, and then they could just throw the bomb tower down in front.
With how bad game 1 went for Fav Gaming, to continue the same ethos on their deck with a few minor changes, that is just smart play. You can tell they've been practicing a few variations of the same deck. They knew how to win with each of these styles. It's insane, because it is basically the same deck over and over again. It is the balloon deck.
And look at this. These skeletons cause such a problem for that Inferno Tower. You want to bring it, because if it can get onto the balloon, it does take care of that balloon relatively quickly. But there just wasn't enough available. Good Fireball and Snowball in there as well to do a lot of damage to that Inferno Tower. And then, that's all, like you said, it's Murder, She Wrote. I haven't thought about that show in a long time.
Well, that does take out the 2v2. Fav Gaming's next ace in the hole is this guy, Jack. 6th overall this season, 60% win ratio. Against Benzer Riddell, who hasn't had the best season. Finishes up 12th, I think, overall with a 44% win ratio. But he has been on a bit of a bounce in the last few games. He has been destroying. And I will say that, unfortunately, Wallbreaker Witch cycle is Benzer Riddell's style. That is how he likes to play. He loves these fast cycle decks. So I think this is going to be Jack's toughest match of the season.
100%. This is such a tough match. And once again, a ton of pressure is on Benzer Riddell for Chaos Theory. We've seen him come up big before. If he can do it again, man, it just solidifies him as a legend here in Clash Royale League Asia. And I did see one Mortar deck in West, in Clash Royale League West, that had the Wall Breakers in it. So it was Mortar, Witch, Valkyrie, Miner, Wall Breakers, Poison, Zap. So you just kind of swap Mortar in there with all this instead of like a Mega Knight. So I'm just kind of going, maybe he'll try it.
That sounds like you need a bleach bath after that one, like to just clean your soul. My goodness. Just put it out there. Benzer Riddell's last 5 games have all been Wall Breaker decks. It has been a variation of either the Wall Breakers Witch Mega Knight or the Wall Breakers Hunter Mega Knight as well. So it's safe to say that if you are Jack, you would be preparing to face against
Wall Breakers.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, I can't wait for this, and it's going to be the barrel. Jack loves this Goblin barrel, especially with the Snowball nerf, and now you're going to get a little damage from the Ice Spirit to start out, and just the Archers here so far to start out for Benzer. So there's a lot of things now that can kind of happen with the Archers. It's not just, you know, it used to just be like, all right, you're playing Expo. Not such the case anymore, and it is going to be a Mortar here from Benzer.
And the Tesla is there, and Royal Hogs on the right-hand side. Valkyrie placed to deal with that, but still going to take quite a bit of damage from the Hogs, down to 2-1-4-2. Valkyrie's very healthy going through, and 1826 has been done by Jack almost out of nowhere. And he is constantly changing the placement of these barrels, so it's harder and harder to predict. First time it was a little bit too far forward. This time it was very far on the left-hand side. So we can see Jack, he knows that Benzer isn't going to be using Tornado in this deck. So he is more comfortable just placing those barrels around the tower just to keep Benzer on his toes.
Exactly correct. And it makes it a lot harder with that Snowball range nerf to make sure you're hitting all of those Goblins. You really need to make sure you're hitting all 3 of them. Otherwise, a healthy one gets an extra swing or 2, and that actually adds up over time. Just going to bridge spam there, and the Witch available to take down this Goblin gang pretty effectively. The Mortar is going to be placed. Benzer, does he have the Snowball available? He does. So not the end of the world. The Mortar takes a pot shot at it, doesn't connect. And this Valkyrie will end up, with the help of the Princess Tower, taking down that Witch. And
Mortar's going to get a couple of hits in here, probably just one with the Princess support too. I was thinking it was kind of strange. I thought we were going to see a 1v1 without the Witch here. And then, of course, Benzer Riddell would put a Witch in a Mortar deck. Why wouldn't you?
I think a log there from Jack, considering that that might have been Archers coming down instead of the Valkyrie. No bother. Still, with the help of the Tesla, you're getting a bit of damage onto the Hogs. The Tesla's not the ideal counter to the Hogs, but it's pretty good.
Yeah, it did the job there, especially with the Goblin Gang in support. Only took, I believe, 1 chump from those Hogs, so great defense here. What does he have to answer that Witch on the left-hand side with the Hogs here? We see Princess. Are we going to see Log? There is the Goblin Gang. Is he going to have anything else? He is taking critical damage. He's getting down to 1,001 HP.
And in the meantime, that Mortar gets another shot in on the right-hand side. So advantage Benzer pretty heavily here. Jack going right back over. Valkyrie, good, decent placement. Not the best, but not. It only got one. It looked like it got two, but it actually only got one in that first swing. So not the best placement, actually.
It got one in the first swing, one in the second swing. That is exactly what Jack is looking for when he's against the Valkyrie like this. But does he have anything to answer the Valkyrie here? Does play the Goblin Gang in the middle to drag her down into 2-tower range. And there we go. A couple more stabs in, 599, but the mortar is going ham on that left-hand side tower. Will Jack be able to do this?
Tesla's got to come down. There it is. The Royal Hogs are taking a bit of damage here with the Princess and the Tesla, but another shot comes in from the mortar, immediately cycling to it. Benzer puts some defense up for those Goblins. Good fireball.
Oh, but the Valkyrie connects!
Oh no, the Valkyrie!
Jack out of nowhere. That was looking like Benzer Riddell's game. All he needed was to cycle back to that poison, I believe. It was just in range after the one mortar shot. And out of nowhere, Jack just gets that connection through. I think Benzer, like looking at him now, is like, maybe I was a little bit greedy on that last mortar shot. Putting that mortar there may have been a little bit too much.
I think he pressed. There. He didn't really, he could have waited a little bit longer, played solid defense, made sure he was getting a favorable exchange, and then go for the mortar again, because he was finding the right timings. See, it looked like because the health bar is in the way, I couldn't see the other Goblin, so I thought it was dead, but it wasn't, and that actually made a huge difference in this matchup. That might have been enough damage that Jack was able to get this last one to go.
So he gets that in there, snowball comes down. Just get one more stab, 599. Now this is looking very scary on that bottom left, especially with the Hogs and the Valkyrie. Tesla comes down to defend, and I believe Benzer drops a second mortar as soon as that one expires. There. And that was it. Only the Archer's there for, tries to snowball, but the Valkyrie doesn't care.
And two Princesses as well. If you don't have a great answer for the Princesses there, you can get so much value from them because of that long-range shot they have, and they don't just die to a snowball or a zap. So you got to have some other answer in there, like a log, of course. But when they start doing that and they build up steam like that, they're just like, it's kind of like a Sparky in a way, where the longer Sparky is on the board, like, it just exponentially gets worse for you.
Yeah.
Same with Princess. The longer it's on the board, the worse it's going.
Yeah, the longer it's on the board, the longer it accrues value. I just wanted to use that word. It was in my word of the day list. But what this means is that Fav Gaming have 2 match points. What that will mean, it won't mean that Chaos Theory are out of the tournament altogether. It means they will play next week in the lower bracket if Benzer Riddell loses either game 2 or game 3 right here.
Exactly. Let me look real quick. Let's see. So this is match number 4, and they would play on Sunday if they lose against the loser of the next match. So we'll see. We don't know yet. I mean, this is Benzer Riddell. Anything is possible.
The Miracle Maker himself. He is the sole reason that Chaos Theory are here this season. He had that. It was looking bad. The week before playoffs, it was looking terrible for Chaos Theory. He managed to, I think it was an all-kill, right? He all-killed, sweeped the other team,
Yes.
keeping them in it. I mean, that is Benzer Riddell's, just his ethos.
Yeah, he won his 1v1 set, went to King of the Hill, and Jay and I think it was Careless, or was it?
It was Careless last week.
Yeah, it was Careless, I think, or yeah, can't remember 100%, but they both lost, and then Benzer came in, and they were close games. A couple of them looked like Benzer was just not going to win, and then he played out of his mind. All right, so it is going to be the Mortar Wall Breakers, a little bit different variant than I was looking for, and that is getting a ton of damage.
Fire Spirits, super good choice there by Jack. Instantly counters the Wall Breakers, and it's a equal elixir trade. I've seen a lot of people say it's impossible to get a positive elixir trade against Wall Breakers, but you can get an even trade with Fire Spirits. They deal with it very, very nicely.
You have to be careful. A good zap or a good snowball, predicted snowball though, will take them out. But yes, they usually are pretty safe bet. You can usually get the trade that you're talking about.
Yeah, so we see the Miner coming in against the Mortar here. Does get a couple of hits onto that Valkyrie, but it's still pretty healthy. But a Musketeer and the Princess Tower will take that down. So kind of just feeling each other out. It looks like Benzer Riddell is getting a little bit more of an advantage here, especially with that Miner and the just in time with the Ice Wizard there to make sure that the Musketeer doesn't get a hit, but it still does.
Good snowball, though, from Benzer to give himself that hit. That bought him enough time. That was a really nice play by him. Looks like he's really practiced this. Really interested to see the Musketeer come back. It had kind of fallen out of favor because of the Witch change, because the Witch was basically doing almost as much damage as the Musketeer, plus the Skeletons for 1 extra elixir. But now we've got the Balloon coming in from Jack. A really interesting deck here from Jack.
It's gonna connect. It's gonna get at least 1 drop here. Even with the snowball, that's not gonna be enough. Bats are there. Where is that drop? There is a zap as well. Is he gonna get 2? It does get 2, my goodness. And then suddenly everything is equal, if not in Jack's favor.
Yeah, Jack found the perfect timing. That balloon, I had no clue that a balloon was coming in behind all of this. That really shocked me there. I thought maybe something like an RG potentially, but it is in fact a balloon. And I think Benzer shocked as well. Those bats are just gonna get zapped out once again. This balloon, I don't know if that snowball is gonna be enough. I think it's gonna get the drop. Oh, the mortar! Defensive mortar just in time from Benzer, but now 263 left. Any more damage on that, and it's gonna be about the end of the line.
This is crazy. The patience from Jack with that balloon, that's how he's gonna go down. So can Jack defend that bottom left-hand side? The zap on the wall breakers, that is it. Jack, my friend, take a bow. Incredible play from Jack and from Fav Gaming today.
Jack really coming in with a fascinating deck there. With that balloon at the end of all of that. It almost smells like when you first start seeing those cards come out, like an Ice Bow or something like that. I think it really surprised Benzer as well, because he had nothing ready in defense for a balloon. Nothing. I don't think that was even on his radar of what that could possibly be.
I was looking at it, I was like, how could you, like, what is that last card? I thought it might have been a big spell.
Yeah, could be, yeah.
And it comes down and it's a balloon? Like, I can see why Benzer Adele looks shocked there. He's giving the thumbs up to Fav Gaming. You cannot deny Fav Gaming have been the strongest team this season.
It is so impressive here. Great stuff from Jack once again. And ladies and gentlemen in YouTube chat, yes, indeed, Jack OP. All right, Jack OP.
Right, but that doesn't mean Fav Gaming are going home. They will be back for the last match of today. They are in the winner's match, which will be Fav Gaming against one of the next 2 teams, which is OPGG Sports or DragonX.
Man, I cannot wait for that. Love watching Fav Gaming play. Their 2v2s especially. Everybody in the world should be watching them. But up next, it is going to be OPGG Sports versus DragonX. Korea versus Korea. Coming at you.
Let's go.
And welcome back, everyone, to Clash Royale League Asia Season 2 of 2019. The playoffs well underway now. Up next, we have OPGG Sports against DragonX after 5 with a 2-0 decisive victory over Chaos Theory. So, let's see this one now.
Continue your thought there,
No,
Payton.
I don't want any more. No, okay. So this one right here is going to be really, really fascinating. All right, we got the hands in. That's nice. And at least we're trying, I guess. All right, guys.
What
come
a
on.
King Zone do, man.
Point deduction from DragonX here.
Penalty. DragonX, terrible introduction. You can't win this one. No, but this game is going to be good. We've got OPGG, who are 7th overall in terms of Clash Royale League Asia, against DragonX, who are 4th overall. But that doesn't tell the exact tale, because DragonX line in 1v1 has been ridiculously scary. 75% win ratio. A ridiculous number of games in that 1v1 as well. I'm actually kind of scared.
He has been magnificent here for DragonX this season. And you can see it's kind of a tale of a second half comeback for Expo Master. He was under a 50% win ratio, able to bring it back up towards the end with some really impressive performances, some good King of the Hills as well. And I can tell you this right now. I talked to Expo Master last week after the games, and he said, the first thing he said was, I want to play line, and I'm going to beat him. That's what he said.
Ooh, that's quite a bold statement from Expo Master, but if one thing I know about that guy, he is bold.
Yes.
The guy has confidence coming out of his ears. He just oozes, like, he has been sitting top of the Korean player, like, let's say power rankings for the longest time. You know who knocked him off? Line. That's
why he wants his revenge. And you can see the accolades here for Expo Master. First place in the CCGS Korea 2017. CCGS World Final 2017 was top 16th. Brought his teams to 3rd place, the 1st place, top 4 in the CRL World Final 2018. Playing very, very well there. And this season, though, a little bit of trouble now that he's moved over to OPGG, but now seems like we're getting the wheels put back on the bus. They fell off for a little while, but now we've got our wrench and our hammers, and well, you don't use hammers for
what's
wheels.
funny, I don't know if you noticed, but Line, during rehearsals, there was nothing there. Because he is like a standout rookie player. He isn't as established as Expo Master in the world stage. I mean, CCGS, in 2017, I believe Expo Master got knocked out by Sergio Ramos in the first round. Sergio Ramos then went on to win the whole thing in dominant fashion. So he never really got to show what he was like against not the best player at the time in the world. But Line is out of nowhere, has kind of appeared on DragonX and has been dominating everyone. I mean, just look at some of the people he's beaten. He's beaten Benza Riddell, he's beaten Pedro, he's beaten Tochi, he beat Benza Riddell. I mean, the guy is just nuts.
Really, really strong. All right, first we got to do a 2v2 before we get to that. This is going to be Huni and Asher versus True Fast and Alpha. True Fast and Alpha having a respectable season in their 2v2s, with a, what are they, in a 5-4 in their sets there, so not too bad, and it hasn't been as good for OPGG in the 2v2 department.
Yeah, it hasn't been the strongest, but neither has True Fast and Alpha, who are 15th overall. I think that's if pairings first, second are together, so they're about, 15th overall. 55% win ratio, though, is pretty good. 5 wins, 4 losses. So True Fast and Alpha definitely are the stronger 2v2 pairing here, but we look at the bans. Tornado makes its way through. What does that mean? means Miner's not going to be as good. You can always pull it. It has one slot. You'll always be able to catch it. So, what are we going to see here? Are we going to see P.E.K.K.A? Are we going to see... Oh, sorry. Are we going to see Miner?
P.E.K.K.A got banned.
I went to say Miner, all right?
Yes.
MP, they're next to each other.
It's always interesting because you think with Tornado, but the thing that Miner brings to the table, as we're jumping into our first game here, the thing that Miner brings to the table is it does draw out a certain type of card from your opponent and gives you A, a little bit of a read on what they're going to do early on, and also B, gives you the ability to kind of set up a better defense potentially for yourself. And you can see right here immediately, they're just going to try the Miner and the Bats, and this, ooh, that is really tricky here from OPGG with that Fisherman and the Tornado.
Beautiful play, but oh my goodness, he's going to pull the Giant Skeleton straight into the tower. Has to use his own Giant Skeleton to push him out the way. And with that Fisherman pushing the Giant Skeleton out too, manages to push it out of range of the tower. Beautiful play, and we see the Royal Recruits played at the back for OPGG.
Ooh, just in time.
Luckily for OPGG there, the King Towers were active, and that is why both wall breakers died.
I want to talk about right now, OPGG looking really good because their placements are so smart and so good. Getting that King Tower activated. Then, even with the Fisherman and the Giant Skeleton, putting their own Giant Skeleton down to push it back far enough that the death damage doesn't hit. This is really fantastic play from them so far, but now they've got some wall breaker trouble. Oh, there's the bomb tower. Okay. We just teleported there, but we're good. They're good.
That's all fine. Okay, Fisherman pulls in the Magic Archer. Bomb Tower will finish that off. No damage to the tower. OPGG's defense has been phenomenal. And actually, they are doing things that I have not seen in 2v2 before. That Fisherman you were talking about where they pulled the Miner. Incredible. I've never seen that done before.
All right. Are they good enough to stop this? No. No, the Royal Recruits are not good enough. We might have cursed them there. And now we've got a Witch, but a Poison coming in. Of course, very popular against that Witch, and just because it's very popular in 2v2 in general, and then you can just throw another spell at her, and she does go down.
Yeah, Miner played there. We see that OPGG are kind of scared of the Tornado coming out from DragonX. They do have quite a few unrevealed cards. So there is a Rocket, starting the Rocket cycle incredibly early here.
Just going for it, feeling confident enough to not even use it against another unit or pairing it up with a Miner potentially. You do see that from time to time. And they're willing to put those Miners in the back because they don't feel like there is a Tornado gonna be coming out here from DragonX.
Yeah, well, here we go. Fireball down on everything there. Royal Recruits and Valkyrie taking care of the Giant Skeleton. The Witch is going to die too. And beautiful defense once again from OPGG. Let's see if I curse them one more time as they do take that top right-hand tower with the Poison and a couple of Recruits there. The wall breakers go down. The Miner is on the tower. Rocket as well. Miner on the back. Bottom left-hand side. Snowball in. 255, 228. Are they going to be able to do this? They got to hold on just a little bit longer.
Makes it so much easier for them to defend the wall breakers because the King Tower is activated as well. That is a huge moment for them. That is so well thought out, knowing full well that with Giant Skeleton not being banned, you're going to see it. And also that the Miner is still going to be played even with Tornado available. And they're able to take advantage of two different situations where it looked like they were in trouble.
Yeah, I just want to talk once again, that Fisherman straight off the bat. Pulling the Miner away from the tower so you take one hit. And then pulling in the Giant Skeleton, you think, oh damn, that's gonna hit. But they playing that Giant Skeleton with the Fisherman trying to get in range just pushes that Giant Skeleton out of range, and we would have seen a very different game if that Giant Skeleton connected.
Look at that Fireball. That is just so much inside of there. You are getting a Mega Minion, a Witch, a Magic Archer, a bunch of Skeletons, and the Giant Skeleton as well, and then you can just rely on the Recruits and the Miner up in the top right. Trying very hard here, bringing out the big boy spell at the end, but it was just too little, too late for DragonX.
I was kind of worried there that the wall breaker was going to connect and take us into overtime, but luckily the King Tower activation saves the day. And that is one of the problems in 2v2 where you bring Miner. It's just so easy to activate the towers.
Exactly.
But I gotta say, OPGG activated it in a way which isn't the usual. They used the Fisherman to pull it down into the corner, Tornado to pull it to the tower, Fisherman to pull it back away.
See, the math, the calculations being done here by these players, very impressive, working out some new strategies. This Fisherman is so fascinating to watch what these players come up with, how much he has affected the game itself, and how you can kind of play around with positioning. Really, really fun stuff from OPGG Sports there. But now it is up to DragonX to try to turn this around, take it to game number 3 in this set.
Yeah, so we see the Dark Prince coming out from DragonX at the top of the page, top of the arena. We see Lava Hound from OPGG, something we haven't seen in a little bit. Kind of has fallen out of favor, especially with the Witch. But in 2v2, it does find a home. So here we go. What are we going to see here?
Yeah, there's an Inferno Dragon available and a Lava Hound of their own from DragonX. So they're going to be able to handle the Lava Hound of OPGG very well with the Baby Dragon and a Fisherman down there to tank a little bit. But there is another Inferno. So there is a lot of answers so far to these Lava Hounds from both teams. It's looking pretty even. What I can see, from what I can see right now, I'm not seeing a distinct advantage either way.
Yeah, it feels like we're playing the arena mode where everything was flooded and you can only play air units right now because everything is up in the sky. Electro Wizard does come down, cleans all that up, and Tornado.
Oh my goodness! You can use the Tornado to arc the E-Wiz beams as well. That is so smart. OPGG Sports right now is like playing 3D chess. But it is crazy.
They seem to be doing things that people have known about and just either forgot or realized it's not as worth it as you think. But in 2v2, these things are absolutely worth it. You activate the King Tower, you pretty much nullify wall breakers, you pretty much nullify anything that can sneak down the back here. And we're going to see Bomb Tower and Bats to take out the Lava Hound, the Dark Prince. And the bomb is actually going to take out all the pups.
Yep.
Boom.
Yeah, the bomb tower is still pretty good against the Lava Hound because that bomb does hit air as well. A Baby Dragon enough to tank a lot from the pups and various other units. So now you can set up for your own push on the right. We're going to get the arrows emote into the Dark Prince emote. I like the combo there from Asher.
Telling a little bit of a story here about what's going on this game, but we see the mini Peck played at the back is going to help take out that Fisherman as a Lava Hound down the right-hand side. It's going to connect beautiful lightning to take out the to take out the Inferno Dragon. Mega Minion connects onto the tower. Gets that one very valuable swipe in there.
Up in the top right, though, there was a decent push that happened from OPGG. That Lava Hound got in there, got some more damage, and it took 2 Mega Minions and some others to defend against that. But we're just going to go right at the bridge spam with the Lava Hound, dragging that Mega Minion away, keeping the shield healthy on this Prince. Double Lava Hound coming through now. What is going to be the defense for OPGG? But in that top right, they're going to suffer a lot of damage.
Yeah, this is going to be right down to the wire. Who's going to get it? Top right gets it. OPGG, the 26th best 2v2 team in Clash Royale League Asia, does manage to take the 2v2 from TrueFast and Alpha. Beautiful play. So many smart little mechanical decisions that definitely show that they are prepared for this playoff season.
It is really impressive, the prep, like you're saying, the preparation they put in for this match really paid off. I mean, they really thought around a lot of corners. All right, if we see this unit, we can do this. If we see this, we can do this. Using that Fisherman incredibly well there, and it was a really challenging matchup for DragonX. Caught pretty off guard there, and getting those King Towers activated is such a big deal in 2v2 because once both those cannons are firing, that's a ton of extra damage, and that's where you can eke out, even though you have basically similar decks, you can eke out as OPGG the extra damage you need to win.
It was much more important game 1 than it was game 2.
Yes.
Game 1 had the wall breakers, it had miners, so it's much more important there. In the second game, not as important. Lava Hound doesn't quite get into range to activate the second towers if you put it on the far sides. But still, having it is just an advantage that you cannot forget. You cannot not do it if it's possible.
Exactly. It's so good. It's so strong. And in the end, those recruits were also pretty powerful here. Going to get some of those spear stabs in, and then game number 2. it looked pretty even, but remember that King Tower is activated. There's a lightning as well. Typically, you're bringing that with the lavas in case of an Inferno Tower or an Inferno Dragon or something like that. And in fact, there was an Inferno Dragon from DragonX, so you really like to get that lightning paired in. Gets your Lava Hound some extra damage, as well as the tower damage you get in it.
Yeah, the double Lava Hound. So I'm going to say this again. Double Lava Hound always feels like a desperation move. It would have been better just not playing the double Lava Hound and having a little bit of extra defense on that top right-hand side. That's how I feel. That 7 elixir on the Lava Hound, I feel would have helped them defend that top right tower.
And I think bridge spamming a double Lava Hound is not as good as waiting, like starting them at the back. And then, you know, if you feel like you have the elixir advantage comfortable enough to do that, you start it at the back, and then you can play defense like you're talking about in the other lane while you still are building up a little bit of momentum and you're forcing some stuff out of your opponent. If you bridge spam it, the Lava Hound doesn't do a lot of damage by itself very quickly. Yep. It's not until those pups. The pups is really where you're getting the damage.
Anyway, all that is over. It's all history. Time to get on to the 1v1. OP Expo Master going against his former team where he was the superstar. He was the #1 player. And he's playing against the guy who took that from him. The first place player in the league right now. DragonX Line. Standing where Expo Master once stood.
What do these two players have prepared for each other? I know. This is, Expo wants this. Expo Master, he wants this so bad. What are we going to see? Expo, we do see him bring out kind of everything and anything, and he comes up with unique and interesting decks that people aren't really thinking about, and he's had success with them from time to time. What does he have prepared for Line as we get into game #1, a huge 1v1 match coming?
So yeah, both these players play pretty much anything. Expo Master 2.6 Expo, Wall Breaker Lockbait, Giant Witch Graveyard, Wall Breaker Lockbait with a Goblin Cage, Royal Giant Barrel Mega Knight, Royal Giant Exonado, but Line also has so many tools in his inventory. Icebow, Giant Dart Prince Control, Royal Hog Mega Knight, Minor Loon, Lava Clone, Royal Giant Exonado. Both these players can play anything.
Literally anything. There are so many decks. They don't play the same thing twice a lot. They like to bounce around, try to keep their opponents off guard, not give them a read on what they're thinking. So far, Line's deck, if this was, if this was 1 month ago, I'd be like, okay, well, this is P.E.K.K.A, probably P.E.K.K.A Battle Ram, but I'm not too sure. Well, the Magic Archer is coming in here as well, so we might be going old school with Line. The Fireball, though, very nice to take down that Magic Archer.
Yeah, we do still see P.E.K.K.A bridge spam. It's not as prevalent as it was a couple months, and there is the Battle Ram going down. So yes, it is bridge spam from Line. Is it P.E.K.K.A? Is it going to be Mega Knight? Because Mega Knight could work, especially with the current meta being Wall Breakers. So you change the P.E.K.K.A for the Mega Knight, and that could definitely be the choice here.
And this could be a little troublesome for Expo Master, because I suspect this is an RG deck from him right now, and this deck doesn't fare super well against a P.E.K.K.A and the other things that are in there. It's pretty easy to counter that RG, so what is Expo Master going to be thinking here? A lot of times you'll see players put the RG behind their King Tower in situations like this where there's a P.E.K.K.A or an Inferno Tower available, so you can build up steam, keep that P.E.K.K.A busy with like the skeletons from the Witch and the other things, and try to buy some time.
Yeah, looking at this, it looks as though Expo Master was very prepared for Wall Breakers. You have the Valkyrie, the Fire Spirits, the Witch, minions too. He was prepared for Wall Breakers. So what does Line do? Just brings bridge spam. It's gonna be difficult for Expo Master to get any kind of footing in this deck, but both players are very even right now.
Very even. You even get a little extra help from a minion up in the top left. He gets one swipe in there. And right now, Expo Master just focusing on playing some defense, seeing if he can bait out the P.E.K.K.A potentially, and then find an opportunity to counter with his Royal Giant. Now you're going to pull that P.E.K.K.A over. Oh no, those minions are in poison. They are going to go down. Bandit on the right is getting a bunch of damage. There isn't a lot available for this Battle Ram. A zap isn't going to be enough. Oh, just in time with the Fisherman. They are going to avoid a ton of damage. You at least block the dash from the Bandit, but man, oh man.
Line's deck choice here, we have to talk about. It is so smart, bringing something that he is comfortable with. He has played a lot of P.E.K.K.A bridge spam, but that was weeks ago. Not in the recent meta. Expo Master is bringing a counter-meta deck, and it's not playing out for him right now. Only because Line brought the Pekka Bridge spam.
Line just outthought him a little bit here. You get one shot from the RG with the E-Wiz and the Pekka being there, but it's still not enough, and now you're going to drag this Pekka away from everything here. You might even be willing to tank a little bit of tower damage. Actually, because of the Witch skeleton spawns, you're okay there. Now you got a Fireball just to back that Battle Ram off. Fire Spirit's going to get some serious damage, but now you got a Royal Ghost that's healthy. He locks onto the tower. 2 swings for him.
Yeah, and this Fisherman's going to pull the Pekka right into tower range. Valkyrie to try and pull it back. But still, it looks as though Line has the number here. There we go. Line showing why he is the #1 player in terms of 1v1 right now. That was clinical.
It's just perfect deck choice. It's the perfect deck choice against what Expo Master brought. He just had a good read. Expo Master has been starting to favor RGs of various different sorts from time to time, and this is the most current anti-meta RG deck that's out there, and there's not a lot that Expo Master has in there to deal with the Pekka and the Battle Ram, and the Bandit especially proved to be a real problem.
Yeah, so I just want to point out, this isn't like Ladder where you cannot guess what your opponent's going to bring or you cannot guess who your opponent's going to be. Line probably knew Expo Master would be looking for blood, right? So he knew Expo Master would be there. He knew, probably from research, looking back in the history of what Expo Master has been playing, he knew what Expo Master would be bringing. This is what the preparation of Clash Royale League is all about. You know, you can work out who your opponent's going to be, what they're going to bring, and then you do this. You basically bring a deck that just straight up destroys your opponent's deck.
Yeah.
This isn't just Line's victory. This is the coach's victory as well.
Yeah, just so well thought out, so well prepared. And I could tell from the get-go that Expo Master, once all that started coming out, realized he was in a bit of trouble, and trying to counter that deck was just not going to be the right one. So now he's got to go back to the drawing board, rethink things, and come at Line from a different angle.
Yeah, you can see Dabong and I think I don't know who the other one was. It might have been Huni. We're just giving him some encouragement. Oh, it's what's his name?
Asher?
No, it's not Asher. It's begins with the E. Oichan.
Oh, Oichan.
Oichan is the coach. So
yeah,
it's Oichan and Dabong there. God, get it eventually. With Expo Master trying to calm him down, but what would you do on the side of King's Own DragonX? You'd just be like, yeah, do it again. Don't worry about doing it better. Just do it again. Stomp this guy. You know, he used to be our star player. He left us. Go stomp him.
I think it could happen. Line is looking really, really strong. I wouldn't be too surprised. You don't see Line do this really ever, where he plays the same deck 2 times in a row. But this time, maybe he'll go for it. I think even still, that Pekka Battle Ram deck that is so powerful regardless. And if there's a Mega Knight in there as well, it's pretty decent against that, because that Pekka gets a great trade against the Mega Knight. So we're seeing a lot of the Mega Knight now in the meta. And will we see a little more Pekka from Line, or is he going to try something different? Nope, that's going to be different.
Ooh. So what I was thinking, like, during that, while you were talking, maybe Line just brings the deck that Expo Master was trying to counter in that first game, just to kind of rub salt into the wound.
Well, so far it looks like they're both having similar ideas on what they want to run. A Log and a Miner. I'd be really curious. There is, now with the Mega Minion, it's not. There is a 2.4 cycle that I've been seeing coming out with the Miner and the Log, but it doesn't have Zap, so this is not it.
Yep. So just to point out to everyone, Elixir Golem isn't available for this tournament right now. It's still locked behind the time gate, so you're not going to see Elixir Golem, which means we couldn't even look at Grand Challenge data because most of that was Elixir Golem this week.
It just, it was hard to look at the Grand Challenge, and I had, like you were saying, you removed Elixir Golem, and it was not much. There wasn't a lot.
4 wins by 1 deck, and you're like, all right, okay, yeah, that's where all the data's gone. But, I mean, it's fair. It's a new card. You know, people are exploring it. It does seem strong, but maybe counters will come out. Anyway, Besides this, now we have Miner. Oh, the Fisherman pulls the Miner from the Miner defense. And it's going to go down, actually, here, right in the middle of the arena. So, Expo Master gets a slight advantage here. 2-0-6-6.
All right, the double witch. We've been seeing this a bunch across the other leagues. Potentially with the Mega Knight or the Giant this time. You can do it two ways, and this time it is going to be the Giant, and it is the P.E.K.K.A. once again from line. Now, it didn't lock onto that Giant with the first one, but then it gets on there, and you get a decent amount of value out of that poison as well. So actually, Expo Master handled that very, very well.
Yeah, now with the Miner on the tower and the Witch there, are they going to get any damage onto the tower? The Skeletons get close. Oh, beautiful defense. Ice Wizard there played so the Witch doesn't get any look in at the tower, but still, advantage Expo Master. He is playing this deck flawlessly.
This is really nice stuff. He's going to build up this push. It's almost funny because this is like the new version of the double Prince, but now that we've got the Witch being very, very powerful, we get both Witches in here. Just a guard going to be pulled. You want to try to get that P.E.K.K.A. off, but a good log to buy some more time for the P.E.K.K.A. to finish off that Giant. Really well done.
Yeah, and now what you've done with that Fisherman is pull the P.E.K.K.A. onto your side of the field a little bit quicker. The poison is there to try and make sure that the P.E.K.K.A. survives, but no dice. Now we have the Giant, the Night Witch again, going forward. The Night Witch with those bats. And the Miner there to tank as well. The P.E.K.K.A. The P.E.K.K.A. is locking onto everything right now.
Everything but what it really needs to. You get one punch from the Giant. The Ice Wizard coming up across the bridge now. We've seen the Witch be the answer. Yes, it will still be the answer for Expo Master. And then immediately he gets that poison out of the way. So it makes it harder when he finally does cross the bridge to drop a poison defensively. Not that that's what line wants to do anyway. It's not really favorable, but now some guards. They're still very, very strong. I feel like a very underrated card. Good.
Oh, that log to push the P.E.K.K.A. back into the Miner. My goodness, Expo Master.
He's looking really, really strong right now. He is pretty solidly ahead, and you can see every time this Witch comes out, it's just poison right away. This time, Expo Master a little quicker with his Night Witch. He's got to get it going because he needs something to deal with this P.E.K.K.A. because right now, the Fisherman was busy with something else, and it still has a fair amount of health. So the Night Witch with the bats, good enough to deal with that. Nicely done by Expo.
Yeah, 3-6-4 remaining on that top right-hand tower. Almost into cycle range if you can get a couple poisons there, but he does need to hold on to this tower. Miner is there. Both Witches played into the poison. Is it going to be able to go forward? The Ice Wizard actually connects. Tries to summon the Fisherman to push it out of range, but it's not. 5-4-9 remaining. A lot of damage getting done, and that P.E.K.K.A. gives up chasing the Giant on the left-hand side. Is it going to connect to the tower? It doesn't matter. The Miner at the top is going to take it out. Poison there. Whoa. Woo. Close.
Very close there at the end. A crucial placement of that Giant to get that P.E.K.K.A. to go a different direction, to open up that right-hand side for the Miner and the poison. It was low enough that if you get the Miner and the poison up there, you just need a couple shovel hits from that Miner, and then you can finish it up with the poison, and you can continue to play pretty solid defense with the Witch and the Night Witch.
Yeah, that P.E.K.K.A. kind of just gave up following the Giant after a little bit and goes towards the tower. Could have been dangerous if the game had gone on any longer. So he was getting ready to do one final hit. I think it would have just not killed the tower, but any other poison zap would have finished it off. Poison log. But beautiful, beautiful play here by Expo Master. Even though Expo Master had controlled 90% of that game, it was still ridiculously close towards the end, and Lion almost nicked it.
So this is what ends up happening here. This is a really similar problem that P.E.K.K.A. decks used to have against the double Prince decks. There's all this junk behind the Giant, and what's actually happening is all this stuff behind the Giant is doing a ton of damage to the P.E.K.K.A. And it's almost even worse because you've got these skeletons running around distracting the P.E.K.K.A.'s swings, and he attacks so slow, sometimes that Giant's able to get by him there. And it turns out you get some pretty favorable trades on your opponent's side of the bridge.
Yeah, 620 remaining on that bottom left tower with the P.E.K.K.A. It would have been close. I think one or two more Princess Tower hits would have killed it, but it might have got one more swing out. It would have been right on the edge. So, I mean, that still could have gone Lion's way.
Yeah,
even
100%.
when he was on the back foot 90%, a Giant dragging a P.E.K.K.A. across the arena almost was the end of Expo Master.
Expo, DragonX fighting. Let's go. They are looking good. Got
But-
some fans in the audience.
Yeah, July fighting. July hasn't played since week 2.
Yep.
He's in the audience. He's in the audience. I saw his shirt there. But like saying July fighting when he hasn't played in 8 weeks, nearly 2.5 months, right?
Maybe it's his sister or something. So just trying to give him a little love.
Well, anyway, whatever that is, we get to game 3. Expo Master match point to take them to the winners final. Line trying to take us to a King of the Hill. I want Line to win this because I want to see a King of the Hill between these two teams because it is going to be off the wall.
I would love that. I would have loved to see a King of the Hill here. That is where we see the real heroics in Clash Royale. And it is my favorite. It is my favorite mode because you get to see so many interesting interactions. A lot of players that you don't always get to see in 1v1 who are quite strong. And we're just going to try and split the wall breakers. The zap will be good, but a lot of elixir had to be spent by Line there to counter those wall breakers. The Fire Spirits aren't good in that situation because you're trying to use the Fire Spirits on one side, right?
Oh, beautiful, beautiful read by Line. That's research in motion right there. Knowing that Expo Master, he plays a Goblin Barrel, is usually at the front. Summon the Valkyrie there. Just close it out. I don't care. You know? That's exactly what Line was like. All right, you got Goblin Barrel.
Let's go.
What's that?
And now look at this. Line seems to have gone back to the deck that Expo Master played in Game 1, that Royal Giant deck. Meanwhile, Expo Master's on a spell bait. And this is pretty typical of what you're going to see in a lot. We see this a lot in West with the Goblin Cage added in because the Goblin Cage is also a pretty good counter to the wall breakers.
Yeah, well, another barrel coming in. Fire Spirits are there this time. Nice split. Gets one little stab, and that's it. And you can see that Expo Master is celebrating with the prince there. The knight. The knight. It's not a prince. It's a knight.
It's an. They look a little similar. They both have mustaches.
I think they're brothers or something. Who knows?
Oh, there you go.
But anyway,
Can they be? Is that? Doesn't like all royal family? Don't they all?
knights
have to
wouldn't be just royal family. Prince,
Yeah.
both would be princes. Yeah, but you know, you could abscond the throne and disclaim
you
your
go.
heritage. Anyway, that doesn't matter. What we get now is Goblin Gang played both sides, splitting the arena. Witch on the right-hand side, Witch for Line down that right-hand side too. So Witch versus Witch. And there's a Mega Knight coming in, jumps onto the skeletons. He's going to get pulled by the Fisherman, and a barrel coming in on the back. Very, very smart. But Fire Spirits take care almost too easily.
Yeah, Fire Spirits are a pretty decent counter to the Goblin Barrel. You're usually going to get a little bit of damage from the barrel, but if you place it right, you can pretty well minimize it. In the meantime, that is a very, very healthy Royal Giant who is getting a ton of damage in here. Down goes the first Princess Tower of Expo Master. He's trying to counter, but the Fire Spirit placement, very good.
That Royal Giant, I think this is the most damage I've ever seen a Royal Giant do. It just hasn't been answered by Expo Master. He doesn't have anything to answer. What's he going to do? Play down the Witch? Double Royal Giant! This tower is out. 3 crown. No. Goblin Cage to stop the 3 crown. There is the Fireball. Line schooling Expo Master, taking us to King of the Hill. That Royal Giant got ridiculous, insane amounts of damage right there.
I can't remember a Royal Giant that healthy going into a King Tower and then just continuing on. That was wild. Just a masterclass there by Line on how to counter this wall breaker Mega Knight meta.
I'm speechless.
It was okay. So what ends up happening is there's this weird situation where you have to be very careful going up against this Royal Giant. You have to save that Mega Knight for a situation when the Royal Giant and the Witch are coming across together. You have to be, because the Mega Knight does decent damage to the Royal Giant. It's not enough, but you can follow it up with something quick, like the Goblin Gang or something else. You can take down that Royal Giant pretty fast, but you have to be super careful with it, because if you don't have that Mega Knight available and there's a decent-sized push coming across from your opponent, you're just boned.
Yeah, well, as we see, I mean, Expo Master putting the minions in that poison kind of just tells the story of that game because game 1 was a bit rough. But yeah, that game 3, man, it was just so well played. That Royal Giant got just insane amounts of damage. It was like watching someone face Royal Giant for the first time on ladder. You know, they just reached the level, and then suddenly a level 13 Royal Giant comes in at 3,000 trophies. You know how it feels. We've all been at 3,000 trophies. Level 13 Royal Giant, and you're like, well, what can I do? Because that is the amount of damage it got done.
I can't remember the last time I did that. I'm a Royal Giant player on ladder. I can't remember the last time I got away with that. That is crazy stuff from Line. Just absolutely knowing full
Look at
well.
that. It was full health. 2-3-3. And this Royal Giant just takes it out, just chunks it away. Fireball comes in. I mean, everything there. Just, you never see a Royal Giant do that much damage in professional games.
I think Expo could have mitigated some of that damage had he waited for the elixir to get to the Mega Knight. He went with the Witch, and then what happens is the Fireball's available, and then you throw the Goblin Gang, and Line's Witch is busy shooting the Goblin Gang, so you're not getting much damage out of that onto the Royal Giant. And then he drops Bats, and then that just gets zapped. Then it's done.
So we get to King of the Hill. Dabong versus Alpha will kick us off, and then it's Asher and Expo Master for DragonX. For OPGG Sports, and Nuri and Line for DragonX. You know, it's been, what, a year since Expo Master played for Kingzone DragonX? You know, when he won, I almost put it on DragonX's side. I mean, it's like the establishment, you know? Expo Master plays for Kingzone DragonX. That's just how it feels. I know he hasn't played there forever, but that's how it feels to me.
This is how I feel about the Witch right now, because she's basically been out of the meta for a long time. And now, and the only other time I said the word Witch is when I had the word Knight before it.
Yeah.
now I'm back to not putting Knight before the Witch. Sometimes it gets me a little thrown off. Dabong 1-3 in his King of the Hills, so he has managed to squeak out one win here, but he needs to find something else. He beat Donnie from Bob Gaming, and then since then it has been a bit of a struggle for Dabong in the 1v1s.
Yeah, and we have Alpha kicking us off for DragonX. Alpha in King of the Hill has actually played quite a lot. He's 4-3. He's beaten Coda. He's beaten Rad. He's beaten Trainer Dexters and beaten Tengod, losing to Reiki Jones, Carolus, and Kota.
Alpha's pretty good. Alpha's pretty good in 1v1s, and DragonX, for dollars to donuts, in my opinion, has a slight advantage on King of the Hill over OPGG Sports right now. Just in terms of, like, there's a slight skill level there, because Alpha and Nuri, I'd say, just a little bit better than Dabong and Asher, but let's see if Dabong can find a way to turn this around and get a win for OPGG Sports.
Well, it's going to be tough for them because, I mean, all right. Yep.
Mariachi time.
Yeah, just keep going. Just keep going, man.
I know. It's good music.
Yeah. All right. Anyway, Furnace played down, which 99% of the time means Royal Giant.
Used to.
Not anymore, though.
Yeah. We're just like, all right, now we don't know. Okay, with the Witch, it could be a lot of different things. It could be that graveyard deck that's been floating around. We will see, because really Furnace is starting to get thrown into a bunch of different decks. There's a balloon deck with it as well, because of the prevalence of the wall breakers.
Yeah, we see the Mega Knight come down there from Dabong, smacking everything with those meaty mace hands of his. And we see the giant skeleton there causing the Mega Knight not to do his jump animation. Barb Barrel comes in, tries to take out the Witch, doesn't manage to do it. That giant skeleton is going to fall well before it crosses the bridge. And then we have the Royal Ghost. And the barrel does activate the King Tower, but it's too late. Almost too late.
The freeze, Alpha saving that freeze. You know, he wants it for his graveyard, but no, he has to use it to keep this. But right away, Dabong pounces with the Princess, locks onto the tower, and is going to be Princess Tower down.
Well, Alpha has it all to do right now. Like, both towers are pretty much unscathed for Dabong. So, like, this is like going uphill with no shoes on and, like, you know, walking across glass. Like, Alpha has to do he has to perform a miracle basically at this point. It looks like he's given up.
He's definitely trying to consider how he can work into this, get to that graveyard, get to that freeze, because it's going to be really challenging. A lot of these new meta decks that come along with the wall breakers oftentimes have decent counters to the graveyard in it. The Mega Knight, the Witch, sometimes you see Dark Goblin coming in. So a lot of the powerful anti-graveyard cards are kind of naturally fitting in with some of these decks.
Yeah, we see the Mega Knight here. It is gonna get a connection onto the tower. No, the Barb Barrel there does manage to save that, but the graveyard on the bottom. And he just lets the giant skeleton, it's on the tower. Freeze goes down. He knows that he's going to be able to do this, but look at that. He's going for the 3 crown. Dabong wants to do this in style. That may actually cost him 1084 on that bottom right tower.
I think he's okay for now, but he can't let another push like that happen. He can't let that giant skeleton get close again. One time's okay. I guess you could pull it into your King Tower again with that Fisherman, and it might be all right. It can be a little tricky at times, though. You got to drop the bats for the Baby Dragon. The Mega Knight going to be out front, trying to use that tornado to pull stuff down, but the freeze isn't going to catch all of those goblins down there, and they are able to clean up that graveyard.
Yep, and it's a 2 crown as well, right in the last minute. Dabong showing what he's made of. He hasn't done it all season pretty much. Like, Dabong does not have the best record, 3 losses and 1 win in King of the Hill, but make that 2 wins now. Great play. He just took Alpha to school right there.
Yeah, he just knew that Alpha was basically out of Elixir and that he could pounce on that left-hand tower with all those goblins from the barrel, and he had the Royal Ghost up there as well. And then the tornado came to pull the Royal Ghost. Watch this. The tornado comes to pull the Royal Ghost over. Yes, you activate that King Tower, but you have nothing left except a freeze to try to deal with this. Your Barb Barrel not in your hand.
He may as well just sack that tower at that point. Using the freeze there, it's 4 elixir on a defense that doesn't even do anything. It's already at a 1 elixir loss, and that's assuming you kill the whole Goblin gang. Just let the tower go, save that 4 elixir, and you might have been able to, you know, when he pushed that tower down the right-hand side with the skeleton, he might have been able to do that once before, and maybe again get to the tower.
Yeah, it's one of the most important skills in competitive Clash Royale is knowing when to just give up on something and focus your attention elsewhere. Go to the other side, try and get something else to work. Take advantage of the fact that you now have more elixir than your opponent and try to find some other way in. And he did get quite a bit of damage with a push from that graveyard, so potentially had he been able to save that up and do that 2 times instead of 1, who knows, maybe.
Well, anyway, we get to Nuri, who I didn't think was going to be in today. I didn't think we were going to be going to King of the Hill, but Nuri, Wallbreaker, Minor Cycle, Minor Lava, Goblin Princess, and Minor Loon. I mean, I said Goblin's Princess, I should say, Goblin. So it was like Goblin Gang, Spear Goblin, Goblin Cage, and Princess. Like, there was no, like, I looked at the deck and I was like, man, that's a weird deck.
He's a little bit off key. He's one of those players. I like these players like Dandelion, Expo Master, that'll kind of do some off-key stuff from time to time that is just really fascinating. No one else in the world has even seen it. And I mean, I still remember the first time that Dandelion brought out those Royal Recruits in 1v1 and just changed everything. And then they became super popular eventually. It took a while.
But I mean, we saw Heal yesterday.
We saw Heal.
Just want to point that out. If you didn't watch yesterday's games, Heal came down in the last 3 seconds of a game, which technically means it has more of a win rate in Clash Royale League Asia than E-Barbs, who have never been seen.
It was really useful in that deck, too.
Yeah.
Actually, it paired really well, keeping that Flying Machine a little more healthy and the Royal Hogs and all that. I thought that was a really creative deck.
Anyway, Balloon comes in. There's the Miner, so Miner Balloon from Nuri. But we have a Spawner deck here from Dabong. Well, that's going to throw a spanner in the cogs for Nuri here.
Is this going to be a graveyard here from Dabong? I think it might be. I think you're going to try to just overwhelm. You know how normally you try to get a tanky unit to try to overwhelm the Princess Tower and then get the graveyard? With the poison here, it makes me think it's possible.
I mean, maybe Dabong thinks he's playing triple elixir and he can go for a full spawner deck with the furnace, with the Goblin Hut, maybe even a Barb Hut there, but who knows. But we do see the furnace played down again. Very good defensive card right now. Nuri, though, what is he going to do? He has to start using that miner more than he's doing right now. That's how I feel. Because if he starts using that miner more, he gets more chip damage, he's going to be further ahead later on.
And I feel like a big problem for Nuri is we haven't seen a big spell. We haven't seen a poison. We haven't seen a fireball to deal with these spawners.
Yeah, so there's the balloon. Since the furnace is there's the miner plate onto the furnace. So this balloon is going to go straight towards the town. No, cycles to another, but is going to get one drop if it's not interrupted. There we go. Not 2 drops, though. So suddenly, Nuri has the advantage.
Nuri found a really good timing to get that in there. With that Goblin Hut on the other side, it isn't available to distract the balloon. And if you're really crafty with 2 different buildings, you can actually get that balloon over to your King Tower and activate it. We'll see if Dabong attempts that. He might not feel it necessary. He might just try to overwhelm it. It is not even Graveyard here. It's literally just a spawner with poison. This is a really, really off meta deck.
Yeah, we see the balloon coming towards the Goblin Hut. That's not where you need to go, balloon. You need to go towards that tower. 960 remaining. With these Goblins and the Valkyrie very low, the barrel comes in, cleans that up. So what does Dabong do? He throws down another Goblin Hut.
Ooh, that Valkyrie just a step off from that miner, so the miner's going to get in a little extra damage, but Dabong slowly but surely stacking up some damage on that right-hand side. Good skeletons by Nuri to avoid the Spire Spirit damage. He's going to throw a bar barrel in the front and get a miner down on in here. Good skeletons from Dabong.
Yeah, he has to stop all damage from that miner, so the skeletons and the Goblin there do help that, but look at that Valkyrie. Insane value there, taking out all those Spear Goblins. Bar barrel comes in to go through to the Musketeer. No, it does get distracted by the skeletons. Balloon almost getting to the tower, but another furnace there. This is a slow game of chess. Look at the damage on that right-hand tower, though. One furnace has just been going to town. One Fire Spirit time after time, getting the damage. Oh, Dabong misses the skeletons there.
Ooh, just not quite on the right corner. So it's a little extra damage here for Nuri, and if you're Dabong, you got to be really, really careful. What is Nuri saving at the end of all of this? It feels like it's got to be a big spell, but we haven't seen it used to handle the spawning building. So is it a rocket?
If it is a rocket, he is getting down into range. Misses the miner again. The miner gets clean hits in. The Valkyrie and the Goblin Gang. Was it Goblin Gang? No, it was just Spear Goblins, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So the Valkyrie and the Spear Goblins there do miss their target. They don't catch the miner as effectively as they should. And that tower is getting very low at 384. Dabong trying to predict a miner coming down on that left-hand side with the skeletons and failed.
Definitely not. Definitely not, I don't think. I'm not sure what this last card from Nuri is going to be. He's going to get good placement. That balloon is going to get in. It's going to get the death damage, and that will do it. Dabong is going to fall with a crafty, unique deck, but it is just not quite good enough. Nuri going back to the old school miner balloon and getting it done.
Dabong's deck is the kind of deck you'd see on like one of those impossible challenges, like beat a top pro player with a spawner deck. Like, what did he have? And he almost did it, because everything was happening on that left-hand side. That one furnace got ridiculous amounts of damage on that bottom right-hand side.
Oh, it was crazy, and well thought out by Nuri to just keep the pressure on. And this was where a lot of damage was done to Dabong. He just was completely broke, couldn't afford to get rid of that balloon. The furnace goes down really quickly to the balloon. And then this was good placement here on this furnace to keep the death damage away at least.
But he just didn't really have it here. He knew what was coming. I think if he'd have played that furnace more to the left, he would have been able to defend a little bit easier, but he wanted the Fire Spirits to be spawning. But he just, like, Nuri's placement of the miner was tricky, because every time it was a different location. And even if you catch it, what you're going to catch it with? Skeletons, they die in one hit anyway. Spirit Goblins, they die in one hit anyway. Beautiful play by Nuri, taking us to game 3 between OPGG Sports and DragonX. And what we have to say is, whatever team wins today, whatever team wins here, they have to go on to play another game tonight.
Yes, yes they do. They got to go play right away. You're just going to stay up on stage and going up next. All right, Asher coming in as we are tied 1-1 in this King of the Hill. What is Asher thinking here against Nuri just went old school, man. That was, I mean, I say that because the new meta is all over the place. I mean, obviously Minor Balloon very popular like a couple weeks ago before the Wall Breakers patch.
So Asher literally is the one player on. Let me check. Do I have Asher here? Did he play King of the Hill before? He has played Royal Giant Furnace and Giant Sparky with Exonado. So,
So we'll see.
Yeah, it could be anything. Literally, this is the thing about, at this point of the season, we know everything about Expo Master. He's played a ton of games. We know everything about Lion. He's played a ton of 1v1s. But when it comes to players like Nuri, like Asher, there's not a lot of data. How do you prepare for that? How can you prepare for your opponent in this King of the Hill if you've never really seen many of their games, especially in the current meta?
Well, then you gotta, you gotta wonder if the players fall back onto the decks that they're comfortable with. Then as your opponent, if you know what they're comfortable with, are you going to bring the counter? Like Asher, okay, you say, well, maybe he likes Royal Giant. Well, then I'm gonna bring, P.E.K.K.A. Battle Ram or something like that, like we saw with Line, where he kind of had a good read on what his opponent wanted to do, and you can bring the proper counter. Now, we'll see. They're both going to eat some elixir here, and I'm wondering what Asher wants to do. I'm really curious about Asher.
Are we going to go super old school where we sit here and wait until the 1 minute mark for units to come down, and then it turns into Golem Nightwitch spammed at the bridge against like P.E.K.K.A. bridge spammed at the bridge, and on the other side just because, and then we see, yeah, that's exactly what it's looking like right now.
We've only, at least in the games I've casted, I've only seen this happen once, but okay, finally Nuri, he's not gonna wait. He waited until about the 2 minute mark, and then he just threw some skeletons, seeing if he can get some information. Asher's gonna roll up a bar barrel of his own, and then the Valkyrie by Nuri. Now, the baby dragon from Asher that is going to get in there and help with that Valkyrie, but the Valkyrie is gonna get some swings in.
Yeah, when it gets like this, where like both players wait a long time and just start playing one card at a time, you're sitting there thinking, okay, what if they board? What if they board with them? And neither player has really revealed their win condition right now, except for Nuri. As I say that, throws down the balloon. There's the Miner. The Miner probably should have come a bit earlier, but the Valkyrie is distracted, and that balloon is going to get a hit. Tornado comes in here, and it's going to activate the King Tower 1 drop, and the death damage does so. But 1736 on that bottom right-hand side tower.
Nuri trying to pounce with that balloon. Asher very calmly placing that tornado. Now, we are getting the furnace from Asher, and this now maybe makes you start to think it could be that Royal Giant. Who knows? And now this time, what does Asher have available? Now you've already used it, but you can draw the balloon over into the furnace, get all 3 towers blasting away at it. But no, it is going to be the graveyard variant with the furnace now, the much more popular in the meta currently.
Yeah, well, we see he is getting quite a bit of damage done, but that is mostly poison damage onto that tower. So Asher kind of on the back foot because he doesn't have much to defend these balloons with. He does have the furnace, does have the tornado, but doesn't really have the bats, doesn't have the other things to help defend. E-Wiz coming down, does manage to stop it from getting a drop, but the death damage, again, it all adds up. Every time that death damage connects, Nuri is getting closer to the victory.
He gets a ton of value on that top right, but big push coming down here on the bottom left. Great Valkyrie placement. Balloon is bought by a little bit of time here with that furnace, and with the King Tower as well. You're only going to suffer the death damage as you can cycle into your graveyard, but the Valkyrie pretty powerful at taking out a graveyard.
Yep, 1308 on that tower. And both players are very, very even in terms of elixir. There's the Miner, there's the balloon, but the Princess Tower actually collects onto the balloon again. Tornado in here. Does he have the furnace to try and pull it a bit further? The E-Wiz. Death damage again, and that is what is going to be key here. Slowly chipping down both towers.
It's really evened up. You get the nice split beam there, a little extra damage from that E-Wiz onto the tower, but there is plenty of defense available for this graveyard. A few spawns on the near side of that Princess Tower, the one closest to the King Tower, get a little bit of extra damage, but no reason to use the poison. There's nothing that Nuri's dropping on that graveyard that you're going to get much value out of for the poison.
Yeah, well, this balloon gets to the furnace, does take it out. Tornado to try and pull it more into the middle so all 3 towers can connect. But the Valkyrie on the left-hand side, Ewiz, they're saving the day, but look at that, the balloon on the right-hand side. No answers. It's going to go down. That's it. Nuri's done it.
No elixir available. Nuri does it again, the exact same deck. And once again, he's able to keep that final card hidden and able to just pounce with those balloons, knowing that there isn't a lot of defense available. As soon as that first Ewiz came down, boom, balloon. Furnace has to be used to distract it, or the tornado, but over time you're taking the death damage from the balloon more often than not. Even though the King Tower is activated and you can do a lot of trickery with that, at the end of the day, forget it. It's just too much to deal with that miner and oftentimes a Valkyrie below it as well.
Yeah, I mean, the tornado tried to do its hardest to try and save it, as with the Ewiz, but you're right, there was nothing really to stop that balloon further up in the lane, right? There was nothing to, like, all right, the furnace maybe. Ewiz isn't going to do it alone. He could never really get the Ewiz and the Baby Dragon because he was busy trying to defend everything else. Beautiful force play by Nuri. I mean, with all 3 towers activated as well, it was hard for him to get through with these balloons, but he did it. And he was looking bad on that bottom left tower with that Valkyrie right there.
Oh, God. It's just so brutal with those balloons. It just feels like you need so many different answers available to feel comfortable against them. You're like, all right, I need a Musketeer and an Ewiz and Bats and Mega Minion and Tornado and Furnace, and like you're just kind of consistently worried about that thing, because once it gets in and starts dropping, it is so painful.
Well, they are down to the ace up their sleeve. Sorry. Oh, I did it again. I went to say DragonX Expo Master. OPGG Expo Master, OP Expo Master here. 80% win ratio in King of the Hill. 3rd overall. The ace in the sleeve for OPGG. Tabong did his job. Asher didn't quite do his job. Didn't get that 1 victory. So it is up to Expo Master to get 2 wins on the bounce. So he's got to go through Nuri, and then he's got to go through Line.
I mean, if anybody can do it, it's definitely this guy. It is definitely this guy. He came through big for them in the regular season in that King of the Hill. So can he do it again? I think he's got a really good shot here against Nuri, but then he's got to go up against Line if he can get through this. And Line seems to have a pretty decent read on Expo Master, but man, Expo, he's been great in those King of the Hills.
Well, we're gonna have to wait and see what's happening here. Both players just, probably going through the warm-up, seeing that loading screen. We see the referee start the game. What are we gonna see in this game 4, King of the Hill, between Nuri and Expo Master? Will we see the Expo? I'm not sure.
He's been doing it recently. We've seen it a couple times from him. Hasn't had a lot of success with it, but he does like to do it. We've seen him bring some Teslas to kind of throw you off as well. A lot of players across a lot of different leagues kind of opting to throw Teslas into decks that aren't Expo from time to time, just because, again, you need some kind of building to deal with these wall breakers or the Royal Hogs.
Yeah, or basically Ram Rider. Basically anything you need buildings right now. If you're not running a building, like, are you even playing Clash Royale right now? Anyway, Miner comes in with the bats. Valkyrie is there to try and stop any damage getting done, which will happen. There's the Magic Archer. Does get the piercing damage. 2, 3, 4 shots in there. That's quite a bit of damage this early in the game.
A lot of damage. Good timing with the Ice Wizard, and here come the wall breakers. So Nuri completely changing it up now, and there you can see that Goblin Cage, a great counter to the wall breakers. But now Expo Master going to use that Tornado. You see that paired up with that Ice Wizard all the time, but a couple big hits from the Brawler up in the top right.
Yeah, but we also had that 1 hero bat for Nuri, who did quite a bit of damage onto that bottom left-hand tower too. So both players getting some purchase with the cards with the units they're placing down on the field right now. This Baby Dragon too, it's going to get quite a few hits. It is relatively healthy as Zap does come down and ends its career right there. Well, Nuri and Expo Master just kind of feeling each other out there. The wall breakers again. Barrow comes in, no hits.
Yep, very good defense so far from Expo Master. Curious to see what else we're going to be finding in this deck that he is running here with this Gob Cage. Fitting into a lot of different variants because of its powerful ability to defend against those wall breakers. Oh. It locks on. It's just shy of hitting that Princess Tower from the Magic Archer. It's really close. Good Valkyrie placement.
Yeah, Valkyrie there taking out the miner, and it is go time with that graveyard. Is it going to get anything? The Bat's doing a very, very good job defending. A couple of hits on that backside. 1866, but everything is gone. Everything is out. And we're back to level pegging.
All right, the Ice Wizard does not turn his attention towards that miner. So now Expo Master.
Oh, he gets the angle.
Oh my God, that is so good. Bomb tower's in the way. Expo Master wanted to get that graveyard down as soon as possible. No defense for those wall breakers. Just gonna let him go in. Wise decision here, trying to focus as much as he can onto the left. It doesn't matter as much to take the damage on the right.
Yeah, that baby dragon though, getting damage for Expo Master, getting a couple splashes as it was hitting the Valkyrie. 930 on that top left tower, 1061 on the bottom left tower for Expo Master. But the tower on that right is slowly starting to get down. It's going to be a game of two towers for Nuri here. He can go left or right, whereas Expo Master really needs to focus on that left-hand side.
All right, there is a zap to open up, but the barrel is there. So now that is just shy of piercing shot range from that Magic Archer. He's going to go down to poison, but a big push coming on the right is going to prevent Expo Master from trying another graveyard.
Yeah, and the miner on that bottom right is just left alone. Valkyrie takes Valkyrie with the Brawler here.
Oh, that Valkyrie got through on the top left, and now it looks like this might be Expo Master's win condition. If he gets any damage, yes, he can just go right to the poison.
There we go. Expo Master, calm and cool. It was looking kind of rough for him at some stages, but just taking the bull by the horns. Absolute control there.
Really good stuff from him. Knowing when to sacrifice Princess Tower damage to get the graveyards in and get as much damage as he can. And Goblin Cage, once again, finding itself coming back recently in a bunch of different decks because it is so good against the wall breakers.
Yeah, well, you know what this means. Expo Master versus Line. Again, it's going to be nuts. We know, and you know from talking to him, Expo Master really wants to beat Line.
Yes.
Hasn't managed it in the 1v1. Will he manage it here in the King of the Hill when it all matters?
This is a huge game. I mean, Expo Master wants this so bad. Of course, Line does too. Line was able to best him in the 1v1 set, but it all comes down to this. Just one game to determine who is going to be playing next against Vav Gaming. And this has been a bloody one between these two teams. Very well fought, back and forth, almost a max game match. We only had a 2-0 in the 2v2 set.
Yeah, well, Line, you know, doesn't have the best record in King of the Hill. He's 2 losses and 1 win. So despite how strong he is in that 1v1 in set number 2, his King of the Hill doesn't say the same story. He's 1 and 2. Will he be able to do this? He's only beaten Coda from Ponos. He's lost to Carolus and he's lost to Mikambuya.
Well, it's weird because DragonX just didn't play a lot of King of the Hill. Everything was 2-0 one way or another for them pretty much. And here we go. All right, Line, what are you gonna pull? You kind of out rock paper scissored Expo Master a little bit, to use a simplified term that's much more complicated than that in Clash Royale. But kind of thought him out a little bit. You were able to kind of predict what he was doing in 2 of those games, bring solid counters to it. And you can see this, there's a lot of stress in Expo Master right now. He looks focused.
Yeah, I mean, this guy thrives on pressure. That is why he has been at the top of the Korean game for the longest of times. He was probably the one player that every team wanted at one point because he was insanely good. Had a bit of a rough season last season, but that was because of exam periods. Hasn't quite had the impact he wanted, but he started to. This meta seems to favor him a lot compared to other players.
All right, we're just going with a Goblin Gang right at the bridge. Zap's going to clean all of that mess up here for Expo Master. Wall breakers, so some kind of spell bait from Line with the wall breakers, but Log and Zap available. Pretty good counters to what Line wants to do. There's that Princess as well, and a Poison here, so triple spell deck.
Is Expo Master going to be playing the all-spell deck? Who knows, because we haven't seen anything. There we go, Night Witch. All right, that dream is over. I was kind of hoping, you know, Rocket Cycle deck to win to win the game would have been hilarious. But triple spell against a spell bait deck. Now, this isn't good for Line. When you have that many spells available, spell bait deck can struggle. Especially with Log, Zap, Poison. Those are the 3 cards you kind of want against this deck. But beautiful placement. The Zap has to be played on the Wall Breakers on the one side.
Ooh, Brawler gets a hit in, though.
And
that is not ideal.
Goblin.
Oh, no. This is not good. Now Expo Master is running out of answers. The Fisherman is here. Looks like it's going to be another double Witch. What is going to be that big card that Expo Master is saving here for the end? One Bat's going to get a hit in. Every once in a while, with the way they spread out, they are able to find a way to get a little bite in there. Now it is going to be the Giant again.
It feels as though Expo Master had the answer key to this match, and Line changed the questions last second. Because with the Log, with the Zap, with the Poison, and Witch, he should be able to defend this incredibly well. But Line is just insane. He should not be as dominant as he is in this match so far. With the Barrel, with the Wall Breakers, with the Princess, with the Goblin Gang. All of that dies to just one of these spells.
Yeah, and it looks like Expo Master is having a very difficult time figuring out exactly when and where he can utilize all of these spells that he has. This time, it is a very nice Log, reading that Goblin Barrel very, very well, knowing that it was not just going to be spread out right around the Princess Tower.
Yeah, but now he's got the Goblin Gang to deal with. There is obviously a Zap in hand. He doesn't want to use it, though. He wants to try and save it. He's going to probably try to use the Poison around here. No, he lets the Night Witch go forward. So that Dark Goblin is going to be able to clean that up. The Witch Giant, it feels like we're back in 2017 with Witch and Giant, but this is a whole different beast of Witch as she keeps spawning those skeletons. Is he going to be able to do it? Okay, doesn't catch out the Barrel there, but does manage to at least mitigate some of that damage. And we do see both Witches and another Giant. This is incredibly scary. What do you do? Mega Knight from Line. That is a great answer here. But the Night Witch Bats are going to be able to do a lot of work. And that Giant is going to get to the tower. Poison is down. That is it. Expo Master taking Game 5 of this King of the Hill against Line. You can see that stare and laugh. Does get his revenge.
He had to let that sink in. This is what he needed to do there. Initially, it was such good control from Line, able to get that Miner even off of that Dark Goblin. There was a very early moment where Expo Master sent that Miner to go to the Dark Goblin. Reading it very well, Line did. Threw the Goblin Gang down in there, kept his Dark Goblin alive. Then all of a sudden, he's got a big push coming across the bridge. That Dark Goblin's still alive and gets a ton of shots in. Initially, big damage done, but Expo Master able to weather the storm. Kind of just keep building up pressure and then waiting to get a bunch of junk going, because there aren't really any spells other than the Mega Knight drop damage, I guess, is kind of like a spell coming in. And then at that point, there's just too much, and there's bats up there as well.
Yeah, but we are going to be back ever so shortly. Don't turn away, as we're going to have Fav Gaming against OPGG Sports. Don't miss this final match tonight.
This is going to be a good one, guys. Stay tuned. Fav looking to do the best that they can with that first place spot out of Group B. They're going up against OPGG Sports. We'll be back.
안녕하세요. OP.GG 스포츠의 훈이입니다.
항상 저희는 지고 나서 깨닫는 게 더 많다고 생각을 해서 왜 졌을까? 우리가 문제점이 뭘까를 이렇게 더 많이 생각할 수 있는 기회였고 그로 인해서 더 강해졌지 않나 싶습니다.
부담감 없다고 하면 이제 거짓말이겠죠. 그래도 제가 이겨야지 이제 연패도 끊고 다시 팀 분위기를 좀 체인지 할 수 있으니까 어떻게든 이겨보려고 했습니다. 아이, 왜 그렇게 된 거예요?
또 용광로가 살았어요.
그러게요.
불꽃 남자 훈이가 이번 경기 용광로를 경기 거의 잡아내는 느낌의 이 정도면
용광로 때문에. 너무 당황스러웠는데 갑자기 그런 게 돼가지고. 자이는 맨날 선패를 먼저 푸는 것 같아요.
그러니까 자이 같은 경우에 조금 공격적인 성향인 것 같아요. 그게 자이뿐만 아니라 브랜 선수들이 다 공격적으로 운영하는 것 같고 여기서 근데 조금 아쉬운 부분이 나오는 것 같은데 여기서 매미가 조금 너무 앞에 낸 것 같아요.
이게 너무 아팠어요.
이때 상대방이 무슨 덱인지 예측했어?
네, 당연히 이건 무덤일 것 같다는 생각했어요. 이때 좀 위험하긴 했는데
이때 바바리안 침착하게 잘 감싼 것 같아요. 근데 상대방도 눈덩이 센스가 좋았고
맞아요. 눈덩이가 좀 좋았어요. 이건 들어오겠다 싶어서 미리 써놓고
여기서 좀 얼굴
여기
좀
좀
실수한 게 조금 위험했어요. 근데 상대방이 우리 공격적으로 독을 써줘서 후방에 용광로 지는 거는 좋은 것 같아요. 우리가 연습했던 것처럼 독을 빠지면 반대편에 용광로 보면 이런 플레이 있고 상대방이 신경을 계속 건드리는 거죠. 여기서도 차를 반대로 못 끄면 앞에 세우는 게 더 나은 것 같아요. 상대방이 근데 또 바바리안을 보고 있었어요. 상당히 공격적으로. 여기서는 이쪽에 무덤 들어간 거 조금 안 좋았다.
체력이 너무 없어가지고 유닛.
여기서도 침착하게 또 수비하고 무덤 들어가고. 여기가 매미가 다행히 머스키까지 잡아주고 타워까지 쳐줘가지고
의미가 다른데. 눈덩이까지 실수했나 보지.
눈덩이 실수도 너무 컸어 상대방. 여기도 얼굴 실수도 하고.
상대 당황했나 보네.
여기서도 시간 안 주고 들어갔던 거 잘한 것 같아요.
반대쪽도 이제 좀 신경 쓰도록 카통 굴려놓고
여기서 맞으면서
몇 대만 긁어주면
여기서 침착하게 1번 낸 게 잘한 것 같아요. 거기다가 무리해서 또 바로 깔자.
얼굴이 눈덩이 때문에 딜이 너무 들어가거든요.
여기서 도구로 마무리하고 초반에 얼굴 실수한 거 빼고는 정말 침착하게 잘 이끌어 나간 것 같아요. 저는 9점이라고 생각합니다. 그 이유는 뭐냐면 처음에 다쿠가 돌진했을 때 얼굴 어그로 실수가 있었는데 그 실수 외에는 침착하게 천천히 경기 운영을 잘 해나갔다고 생각합니다.
8점이라 생각해요. 첫 경기에 약간의 미스가 있어서 최적의 점수는 아닌 것 같아요. 사람은 이제 좀 맞아야 좀 잘한다는 그런 인식이 있잖아요. 그걸 좀 뭐라 해야 되지 이거? 그냥 말 비유. 그러니까 좀 잘해보겠습니다. 연승 이어가겠습니다.
일단 이겨서 기분 좋고 앞으로도 많은 경기 남아있으니까 더 열심히 하고 싶습니다. 다른 프로게이머들은 잘 모르겠는데 저는 되게 멘탈이 좋은 편이라 가지고 그래서 앞으로 더 잘하자는 마음으로 계속했고 그게 잘 먹혀가지고 지금 잘할 수 있는 것 같아요.
우리가 덱을 준비하는 과정에서 계속 상성이 먹히고 가는 그런 것 때문에 진 거라고 생각을 했고 그런 것들만 조금 보완을 한다면 우리가 이길 수 있다고 생각했습니다.
제 자작극입니다. 덱 선수를 상대할 때 가장 경계했던 게 벌룬 덱, 그리고 페카 덱, 호그, 석궁 이런 게 있는데 그 덱들을 전부 다 카운터 치기에 좋은 카드가 일렉트로 드래곤이기 때문에 그 카드를 넣어서 같이 쓰면은 제가 거의 질 일이 없다 생각해가지고 그런 덱 구성을 했어요. 근데 오히려 고마웠어요. 전 상대방 덱을 다 알고 있으니까 상대방의 약점을 빠르게 파악하고 그렇게 시행했던 게 되게 잘못했던 것 같아요. 딱 여기서 솜페가 저는 꽤 괜찮다 생각하거든요. 이게 얼버과 토네이도도 있고 공격 각도도 있기 때문에. 근데 갑자기 여기서 고우리. 갑자기 고우리가 뭐지? 전 그래서 다프 그 무덤 있잖아요. 그건가? 하고 지금 살짝 고민하고 여기서 토네이도 쓰는데 쓰자마자 바로 로자 나오고
이때 로자 들어오는 거 보고 어땠어?
이때 아 이거 되게 칼 타이밍이다 생각했어요.
너 덱인지는 알고 있었어?
여기까지는 잘 몰랐어요. 근데 광부가 들어오고 나서 그때부터 알았어요.
와 여기서 너무 많이 맞았어 로자한테.
아 맞아, 여기서 1드 나올 때, 여기 1대 나올 때 이때 알았다. 이때
아 여기서 첫 광부인데 솔직히 광독덱에서 첫 광부에서 킹타 열리면 거의 게임이 불리하잖아. 이때,
그렇죠.
이때 느낌이 어땠어?
이때 이거 홈 버튼 누를까? 그 정도? 여기서 타워피가 엄청나게 차이 나가지고
그러니까 거의 2배 가까이 차이 나네.
그래서 열심히 해야 되고.
근데 상대방도 맞아주는 플레이를 해.
네, 계속 맞아주더라고요. 여지를 주는 플레이를 계속 하더라고요.
근데 상대방이 다른 덱은 다 보여줬는데 스펠 하나를 안 보여줬잖아. 난 이때 사실 반전하면서 아 번개이면 이거 진짜 큰일 났다 생각했는데 너는 어땠어?
저도 번개이면 진짜 큰일 났고 지마에게 그냥 불려야죠. 그래서 더 맞으면 안 되니까 통나무도 써주고.
상대방도 어쨌든 로자는 토네이도까지 있으면 수비가 어느 정도 가능하기 때문에 광부대만 안 들어오면 이길 수 있다고 생각했고 여기서 상대방 바통 굴리만 하는데
계속 여지를 주.
맞아주고 아 여기서도 근데 월법이
이걸 못 이긴.
그러니까 여기서 여기 살짝 위험한데 그리고 광부까지 같이 들어올 거 아니야.
그래서 살짝 큰일 났다 생각했어요.
나도.
토네이도를 공격적으로 쓸 줄은 몰랐어요.
다행히 여기서 월법 살아가지고.
네. 근데 이 정도 하면 아직도 할만함. 네.
여기서 광부. 여기서 광부 예측이 안 됐다면 정말 힘들었을 것 같은데.
네.
다행히.
근데 덱이 좀 뻔하게 들어왔어요. 계속 광부를. 계속 저 위치에 들어왔던 것 같은데.
여기서.
근데 제가 어느샌가 또 많이 때려놨어요. 지금 보면 또.
맞아 어느 따라갔어. 따라가고 여기 광부. 여기서 1드가.
1드 스플래시.
나 1드가 때릴 줄 생각도 못했어.
저는 살짝 때리는 것 같았어요. 느낌이.
여기서 1드가 때리면서 마무리 게임.
아.
너가 근데 맞는데 이기니까 어때?
근데 이런 건 처음이라 가지고 갑자기 제가 만든 덱을 갑자기 복제할 수 있는 스포에도 없었는데 진짜.
그래 오늘 잘했던 것 같아.
알아요.
월드 파이널
가자.
Let's go.
Welcome back to Clash Royale League Asia Season 2 2019 playoffs. It is time for our winners match of the day. It is going to be FAV Gaming against OPGG Sports, who just got done upsetting DragonX in a marathon of a match. And once again, Expo Master is a hero and a legend here in Clash Royale League Asia.
Yeah, well, we saw from the video, these were old matches on those replay, boys. That is what makes a pro gamer. They look at their own games, talk about what they did right, what they did wrong. OPGG do not have time between their first game and second game to do this, but FAV Gaming have had enough time between between match 1 and match 2 to come up with a new introduction for their team.
Jack isn't able to keep in character. C. giving that one a C.
No, that was easily an A+. That was on the fly. They didn't know they were playing this last game until just now.
Not bad. No, it was pretty good. All right, so this is, I mean, how much is the fact that OPGG just had to reveal a ton of the decks that they want to play and their strategies because they had to go through such a brutally long match going to affect this? And not too surprising, nothing changing for either teams in terms of their lineups.
Yeah, I think Valve Gaming definitely have an advantage coming into this. They played the first game, they dominated, it was 2-0. OPGG just played a massive slugfest of a game. I mean, how would you come out of that and not be exhausted?
Oh, I mean, you could see it on Expo Master's face after that last game. I mean, there wasn't, for a solid like 3 seconds, he looked just completely blank as a person. And then eventually he kind of put it together and gave us a little victory pose, but he was definitely struggling there. And
just to put it out there, the time here now is 9:15. So, you know, a lot of players have a very strict routine of when they go to bed. They like to maybe be, you know, feet up, slippers on at this time, maybe watching a couple of replays. Now they've got to play a whole match again. And I mean, it is late. This is probably the latest I think I've ever been here.
It's pretty late. It's getting pretty late for Clash Royale, and it's going to, I mean, there was one day where we had a bunch of technical issues, and I was here till like almost midnight, but that was the worst.
I don't count those. I gotta say, Valve Gaming's 2v2, we all know and love, right? They ban out the Tornado. Okay, cool. We do see a Mega Knight ban, though, from OPGG. I think this is going to open up wall breakers for them. Like, yeah. That's probably what they're looking at here, but that's a double-edged knife. Like, that's a double-edged sword. Do you want your opponent to use wall breakers against you? What are you going to bring instead?
I could definitely see somebody considering a balloon freeze. If you're suspecting wall breakers, if you're trying to bait your opponent into that, we could see, you know, a lot of those defensive buildings like the bomb tower and the other things. So, but I don't know. For some reason, my gut says balloon freeze, and I don't know why. Maybe it's just because we saw Nuri get some serious work done with that old school balloon miner deck. And I finally remembered what that last card probably was. It was probably an Inferno Tower. And it makes sense why it never got played, because there's like nothing to use it against in those decks he faced. It took me I had to rack my brain. I'm like, God, I've been studying, like, I've literally written down like 40 new decks that I've seen since the Wall Breakers patch in all the Clash Royale leagues, and I just couldn't for the life of me remember this old school deck.
I could see the steam coming out of your ears. Your brain was working overtime. Actually, it was working for a change, so, okay.
Oh, you got, okay, there it is. I got to give you the one.
We're all even now. We're all even. Weeks and weeks of abuse that I've suffered through your casts. I get one. Okay, we do see Hog Rider. Now, that is a card I haven't, it seems I haven't seen that card in a million years.
It doesn't come out very often, but every once in a while it makes its way in and has some success. I saw it over in CR West one time. It was tried, and you pair it up with that Earthquake, because if there's a building, then you can really get that Hog Rider in. No buildings makes it a lot harder to defend it, though.
Yeah, I mean, they did play the Hog Rider Earthquake with Giant Skeleton Freeze, and that looks exactly what we're going to see here from Valve Gaming. We do see both players carrying the Hog Rider. They do have a Witch this time, though. I would have wrote that down. So, yeah, it's looking like a very similar deck here. But this is interesting. You see the Lava Hound go down on the left-hand side. You're like, okay, let's go all in. But that lightning kind of changes things here for Valve Gaming. That's going to put them on a very big clock, and that is a lot of damage. That Mega Minion and Miner and Lava Hound getting so much work done. Down already under 1,000. Is it going to go below 500 at this point? It is.
They thought they could defend with the Inferno Tower, but wisely the Lightning paired up with that Lava. You see that all the time, and right now, big advantage for Hootie and Asher. How can Kitya-san and Kensumeshi get this turned around? One good freeze. One good freeze, which is what I think is likely to be in here. I think you get one good freeze, one good push, and you can turn this one around if you're Fob.
Yeah, but I don't know if they're going to bring the... I mean, it makes sense to bring the freeze, right? We've seen them do the freeze before. But will they do it again? We see the double giant skeleton here. We see double hog riders.
Maybe it is something different than the freeze.
Well, with the Musketeer, I mean, Musketeer and Witch are equivalent. One has Lumberjack, one has Earthquake. So, yeah, you're probably right. That last one is probably a freeze. Maybe on both players at this point, it's hard to tell, but the lightning comes down. And that Hog Rider has done so much work for FOV Gaming on that top side. The Musketeer here connects. That tower is down.
That is nice there. They don't even need the freeze. Poison's going to get some of the Witch. Is it going to get the Dark Goblin? It does with the log help.
There's 10 seconds left. They need to cycle to the lightning to finish this off. There is the Electro Wizard. 3, 2. Is it going to get it? 3, 2, 1. Where's the lightning?
Not there. No spell. Comes out from OP at the end. Maybe they thought that Ewiz was going to finish it off, but it was just 26 short. And that's going to be FOV. I think maybe getting a cheeky, I mean, they had a pretty big advantage on that right-hand side anyway, but
that was cheeky. OP should have defended that. Like, they had the tools. I say defended, but they should have taken that tower. It had 26 HP. They could have sneezed. They had Log. They had Snowball. They had Lightning.
I got to look at this again and see exactly what the Elixir situation was. Maybe there was a communication issue where neither of them had like Snowball or Log, and neither could like say it quickly enough. There's
4,
plenty of Elixir.
5, 6. Yeah, there's so much Elixir.
Plenty of Elixir. The Log had just been used on the right-hand side. Maybe they were expecting the Snowball, but maybe there just wasn't quite enough time to get it off. I'm not sure.
Well, it just falling short. It looked as though they had that tower wrapped up, right?
Yep.
I was looking at it just out of poison range. I think it was 218 HP against 216 damage from the poison or something.
Yes, correct.
So I can see, I think it was just a minor miscalculation. I think they might have, like, you look at the 10-second mark, they kind of look at each other like, you're going to finish that, right? No, you're going to finish it, right? And by the time they finish looking at each other and saying that, there's 3 seconds left. What are you going to do? Log's not going to reach it. Lightning.
So you don't want to use Lightning. I mean, that's like for 26 damage. That feels bad, man.
But it would have kept him in the game.
Yes.
I mean, sometimes you just got to bite the bullet and pull something out like that. I mean, negative Elixir trade, but...
For sure. For sure.
Well... Both of us said that.
Oh, no.
Same time, same pitch. Yes.
It's that Korean casting influence leaking into us here.
All right.
Timeout time. And they're going to regroup. This is, I mean, OPGG really wants to win this 2v2 because, yeah.
Well, I mean, it sets them up nicely for the coming weeks. They'll only have 1 game left to the finals. Whereas if you drop down here, you're going to have to beat the winner of the losers match. Plus then, you know, you have to beat the winner of the winners match. Like, ugh. You don't want to go through the gauntlet if you don't have to. But it does keep you on your toes. We were talking about this before. If you're in one of those teams that comes from the bottom of the bracket, you're going to be warmed up, on fire, game after game. So sometimes there are teams out there in most esports that do better in the losers bracket than they do in the winners bracket.
Yeah, it just kind of, you get a few extra games in to kind of get some practice. The other side of the coin is that your opponent gets to see a little bit more of what you have in mind. And yes, indeed, here come those wall breakers, but a Goblin Cage. Plenty of defense available.
Were they going for the split there and they both go the same lane?
Potentially, probably.
It is weird putting them in the middle when you could just slap them on the bridge, you know?
Most likely. Ooh, Skeleton Barrel, we haven't seen that much in recent times.
It is going to get a connection on the tower. Boop. And yeah, Valkyrie just instant. They didn't even have time to like spawn in. They just kind of died.
Well, it's hard to get that Skeleton Barrel going because the Valkyrie's so popular. It's a good counter to the Witch when she gets over to your side. There's a rocket from FOV Gaming, and we see this from time to time with them where they're just going to get a lot of value out of those rockets and beat you with sheer brute force from spell damage. The guard's not in the right spot. Ewiz had to help with those bats because they were getting dangerously close as well.
Yeah, well, that rocket was a negative Elixir trade. It is 6 Elixir against 5, but it will come in future down the road. That damage probably will be the difference between these teams at some point. Right now it's 1608, but FOV Gaming haven't taken a lick of damage on either tower, actually. impressive defense for them so far. There's the Ice Spirit to slow down that Baby Dragon enough to summon the Musketeer in the middle. He's going to try to clear this up. Brawler does get one punch in. Miner again getting damage done. There's the Wall Breakers. Ooh, just in time. Is it gonna? No. Which does manage to sort that out there.
Ooh, yep.
Musketeer just ignoring all the skeletons in front of her, just going for the target.
And this is problematic for OPGG. If they haven't, I mean, they haven't scratched a tower yet. And now there is a miner coming in on the right. Okay, it's going to be the old RG Giant Skeleton, and they're going to use a rocket on top of it, getting some decent damage. It's about like a third of the health of the RG, and you did buy some time with the other units in front of it to get that Inferno Tower out of the way. Good guards on the right-hand side this time are going to clean up that miner, and a Valkyrie's going to deal with this Dark Prince.
Yeah, not getting enough damage here for OPGG. Both towers so healthy. So it is looking like Favs Gaming. It looks like their game, right? I was going to say Favs Gaming game, but that's too hard to say. It is looking like their game at this point, but we've seen teams reverse. There is the Graveyard. Where is the freeze? The freeze has to be coming down. Surely, if you're going to be able to win this game, you need that freeze like yesterday. No, this is Favs Gaming.
Yeah.
Sign Seal delivered. At this point,
they just need to get a rocket and an extra couple spells in there or something like that. Another couple minor hits will do it. Predicting the guards, but being more patient this time, realizing that Snowball is coming through. That was very well done there by OPGG. Now they have to play a little bit more defense. You do get that death damage. There is the freeze paired up with the Royal Giant. He gets a few extra shots, but so far, it isn't quite enough. Miner in the front, no defense for it. You're gonna get into rocket range right now. Send it out, send it home. Fav Gaming is just gonna take it.
Fav Gaming are far too good at 2v2. Far too good. Their 2v2 record, I think, is the highest out of every Clash Royale league.
Probably.
That's
I wouldn't
nuts.
be too surprised because they're destroying everybody. I mean, and it's just brutal.
They figured something out about 2v2 that no one else has. Do they perform the fusion dance every day so they can read each other's minds? Like, what are they doing differently compared to other teams?
They've got those earrings, man, from the gods. They got the earrings. It's so interesting because they're not really playing the same stuff. Their decks are really well balanced. They find good flavors, and they know different ways to beat you. Like they kind of figure out early on, all right, are we just gonna have to beat you by getting miners in and maybe getting a lucky push, or in this case you've got the Hog Rider and you always bring the EQ with it, and then you're just going to keep beating you down with that, or are we just gonna like outspell damage you with the rocket and that kind of thing?
Like, it's interesting, a lot of people don't rate 2v2. They say, there's no skill in 2v2 at all. But if there's no skill in 2v2, why are Fav Gaming currently 11-1? I believe at the end of today, right? 11-1.
The Japanese teams are really good at 2v2. I mean, we've seen this from Ponos in the past. Now this season, it's Bob taking the mantle. And there you go, that big rocket. So much damage, 432 right into that Princess Tower. They're just so good at adapting. They know when to switch sides. I can't praise them enough.
But if you look at them, it looks like, they're just two dudes chilling out in a bar. Like, they don't really look as though they're playing for their lives, right? They're playing for the winner's bracket. They're just ridiculously chill. But when you look at Asher and you look at Huni, was it Huni? I can't remember who it is.
Yes, Huni.
Huni, yeah, sorry. When you look at Huni and Asher, they look like they're on stage. They look like they're performing in front of, like, the thousands and millions of people, whatever, at home. It just doesn't seem to phase, like, Kensameshi at all. And because Kensameshi isn't phased, Kitashian is just like, yeah, all right, if you're not scared, I'm not scared.
Yeah.
But what are they doing different? Like, I can't see in the games what they are doing differently compared to other teams.
It's just they play pretty flawless. I mean, there just don't seem to be mistakes. You know what I mean? I don't see mistakes. I see well-balanced decks. I see well-thought-out decks. I see a lot of mix-up of spells, bringing the right spells at the right time. you know, knowing when they can use those rockets or lightnings effectively, knowing that if you have, you know, a Hog Rider, knowing when to use freeze, when not to, making good calculations, and playing unreal good defense. I mean, you said at the beginning, they weren't taking like any damage. It finally happened, but for that first minute, they basically took no damage.
Anyway, let's talk about this 1v1, because this is what we are all here to see. Jack versus Expo Master. During the break, we did see those videos where Expo Master was talking about games with Jack.
Yes.
And they were pointing out mistakes. Jack and Dabong were pointing out mistakes from both players. But you could see that the confidence is there for Expo Master going against Jack. Is it going to continue here? Who knows? Because we've seen Expo Master today perform all right, and then he destroyed Line in the last game. Is it going to happen now?
All right, Jack is going back into the wall breakers. Goblin Cage and that Goblin Brawler. And good Valkyrie here from Expo Master to defend this. And now this is a great Magic Archer placement, getting a bunch of shots in. A good log to buy him a little bit more time there. And it get rid of that Barbarian and put enough damage into the Valkyrie to take her out. Yeah, we could see Expo Master shake his head. Doesn't quite know what to do with the cards he's got down right now. We see the Cage, the Valkyrie, the Bar Barrel, the Ice Wiz. Like, how is he gonna try to make this work against things like the Wall Breakers, the Miner here? Oh, the Wall Breakers! Are they gonna get through? Has to use a Tornado here. One down. Wow! Just not coming down with it. It's going to be the Graveyard with that Ice Wizard once again from Expo Master. The Valkyrie, I wouldn't be too surprised if the last card Jack here has is a Bomb Tower. Expecting something more like the Wall Breakers and that kind of thing, or it's also very good against the Royal Hogs if they come out. But in this case, might not be quite as effective. It'll still be quite effective against, you know, it's a great card against pretty much everything. Bomb Tower is like kind of slept on a lot, but if you know your opponents are going something tricky or they're going for direct damage, man, you know, Bomb Tower is great. There's the Wall Breakers, has to Tornado again. Expo Master doesn't seem like he's got a great answer for them. He has to keep using that Tornado. Negative elixir trade if you're keeping track. Yeah. So, so much damage getting done on that left-hand side. What can Expo Master do here? It's really tough. Got to keep that Goblin Cage available, but in this case, he's just going to cycle through it. His mana had built up enough. Expo looking for a moment where he can drop that Graveyard and whatever's at the back of it. Usually it's Poison these days. There you go. As you say it, Poison comes down. Magic Archer just out of range, but we have the Brawler and the Baby D here, and quite a few hits coming through. Magic Archer has to be played on the defense. Valkyrie does manage to take down the Brawler and a bunch of skeletons. 1506 suddenly evens out the score. There is the Miner. There are the Wall Breakers, the Bats, the Magic Archer. There's a lot of stuff here. Magic Archer didn't find an angle. Still doesn't find an angle through the Valkyrie. So good nullification of the Magic Archer here. Ice Wizard on the left-hand side. He's going to get a couple of hits in. Valkyrie slowly trying to creep up onto that Magic Archer. Does take it down. We see Minor Wall Breakers again. All right, the Tornado has to be used again by Expo Master. Just in time with the Valkyrie, but a lot of elixir committed to that defense, and still a little bit of damage was done by Jack. And look at how far away this Magic Archer is, and he is still able to help out with this. Poison is down as well. Log coming down to try to get through to these skeletons, but a couple nice hits here as another Miner is attempted but deflected by Expo Master. Yeah, that Magic Archer did get a connection with beautiful Tornado to pull him out of the way. The Ice Wizard on the left-hand side. Is it going to connect? It is. So now we're getting down to kind of spell damage range. Unfortunately, only has the Poison in his deck, so not quite enough here. Oh, the Cage is on the wrong side. Will he be able to stop? Ooh. Oh no, the Magic Archer's getting the piercing shots. Another one getting piercing shots on the left. Dual Magic Archers for Jack, doing so much damage with the Miner in here as well. Another hit plus the log. It's going to be Jack narrowly taking down a close game one. That was back and forth. There were points where Jack looked like he had it sealed up, ready for delivery. But then Expo Master got a good few Graveyards in, bringing it relatively even. And look, when As soon as Jack saw that Goblin Cage dropped, bam, other side with the wall breakers. He knew that was the best answer that Expo Master had available. And then you're forcing the Valkyrie out, which is a 4-2 elixir, and then you open up your miner to go wherever it wants, because the Valkyrie is what Expo Master ideally wants to be using to deflect that miner.
Yeah, this graveyard was probably Expo Master's best graveyard. But yeah, you're right. As soon as that Goblin Cage come down, those wall breakers were down quicker than anything. It's like you see it and it's like running at the speed of sound, like just jumping in. With those wall breakers, it's like, there's my window. It's like a mosquito where you leave like the tiniest little gap in your window in the summer and your lights on. And you just have 100 of them coming through. Like that window is tiny.
Oh, it's the worst. It's the worst. Now look at this. He knows that the Valkyrie is in front and he can use the angle to get in there right away because that Magic Archer locks onto stuff pretty quickly. And you can set it if it's on that second row of squares behind the bridge, it will still hit the Princess Tower.
Well, what is Expo Master gonna do now? Like, this is where he usually shines, back against the wall. If he loses one more time, it is game over. But Jack has showed time and time again this season, he can close out anything.
Yes. I mean,
he's insane.
He's insane this season. He is playing so well. This is like peak Jack. And a lot of people consider him to be the best player. Oops, that didn't split. Yep, you can see we get that. They're having a tough time getting those wall breakers to split properly.
Yeah, well, keep throwing out those "this is fine" emotes. That's how we all feel when that happens.
It's a great emote, one of my favorites.
It is one of the best emotes in the game. But here we have the Baby Dragon moving up towards the tower for Jack. Miner on the left-hand side for Expo Master. Does cycle out that log. Tornado here just so that... Ooh.
Oh boy. It wasn't far enough that the Baby Dragon changed targets. And this is fascinating. The old Lava Hound deck, but the Executioner is here from Expo Master. A Fireball hurts it, but it is going to get changed targets, and he has to use a poison. Expo Master having to use a lot more elixir than he would definitely like there because the Fireball changed the target of that Executioner, so it wasn't also hitting the Inferno Dragon.
Yeah, but I mean, that's 9 against 11. That's a 2 elixir positive trade, I guess. Oh, but he did use the Goblin Gang as well, so he's 1 down. All right. Math is hard, especially when it's live, all right? All right. So, anyway. Looking at the deck so far, we've seen every card from Expo Master. Wall Breakers, Miner, Executioner, Valkyrie. I think he's got a pretty strong deck here against what Jack is showing.
Exactly what I was just thinking. He has the Executioner, which is a superb answer to that Lava Hound. And he's got a lot of ways to distract the other units. Now, yeah, Jack is up just a little bit in damage, but as long as Expo Master can utilize this Executioner effectively. Now, I'm not sure if right now is the time, because you can get that Executioner like right, if you drop it right around the time the Lava Hound breaks up into the pups, it just annihilates the pups and not much damage comes out if you can find another way to kind of beat down that Lava Hound a little bit.
It did feel like it was ever so slightly early, like played too early, but doesn't matter. It still annihilated that Lava Hound, absolutely deleted. And that is the power of the Executioner right now. It does obliterate the Lava Hound.
It really does. It just absolutely obliterates it. It's not too bad against some of the other things that we're seeing with a lot of the spell baiting type things like the Goblin Gang and the others. And it does a lot of damage. It's actually pretty good against Baby Dragons as well. It's only 2 axe throws plus another hit. Oh, anything else? Ooh, Wall Breakers on the left.
And the Valkyrie on the right too. Even though there's an Inferno Dragon on that, it still gets a ton of damage. 917 remain, and another Executioner in cycle for Expo Master. There is the Miner and a Zap trying to get rid of that Executioner, and the Executioner is down. And there is a lot here for Jack. Will Expo Master be able to hold on here? Will he be able to manage this push? Has to use the Miner defensively here in the middle, but still so much there. The Inferno Dragon connects, the Baby Dragon is there, the Miner is there, and that is it. Jack
and Bob Gaming will take the day with 2 big wins. Cheer on, Jack. Well done here. Really nicely turned around by him. Able to kind of weather the Executioner like threat that Expo Master had there. We talk about it as being a great counter to Lava Hound, but You throw a fireball in there, you change its targets, and that's a really effective way to deal with it.
Just unbelievable. Like, people say that Executioner is why we don't see much Lava Hound around anymore. Jack just beat Executioner with a Lava Hound deck. That's like beating a Royal Giant deck with an Expo, with a 2.6 Expo. It's hard to do. It's not impossible by any stretch, but it is difficult. You have to play flawless, and that's what Jack did. He just eventually overwhelmed Expo Master, took out the Executioner, which was his best answer, and continued to do so. He just shut the door, finished it up. Beautiful. I'm just unbelievable.
He's just so good.
Yep.
He just absolutely was fantastic today, and you can see wins for the blue sides across the board. And it's so good. He's using the sap and the fireball to change the targets of the Executioner, because what you want with that Executioner is you're hitting all of the units that are behind the Lava Hound as well in that situation. But now the Executioner turns a different direction. All those units that Jack has there are very healthy, and then he just starts spamming the bridge with Baby Dragons, Valkyries.
Yep, well, as you can see, we have OGN, Entus, and Fav Gaming. Fav Gaming today making it to that winner's match. OPGG dropped to the second losers bracket match, and Chaos Theory and DragonX will have to duke it out in the very first match of the losers bracket. There is a mountain to climb for Chaos Theory and DragonX, but it is not impossible. OPGG Sports and Fav Gaming, though, do stand in the way if those teams are going to get anywhere near.
All right, this is what you guys have to look forward to next week. Kicks versus Ponos. The winner of that goes over to play Sandbox. The winner of that goes to play OGN Entus. I said early on this year that I really wanted to see Kicks play OGN Entus. They've got a really tough road ahead of them.
Yeah, I mean, this pretty much, it almost guarantees an All-Korean final.
It's starting to look good.
But Fav Gaming are ridiculously good, so it could, Kicks have a mountain to climb, right? All teams have a mountain to climb from that bottom match. But OGN, can you imagine going through Ponos and then facing Sandbox? And Sado has his day like he did yesterday. And then you go through him, and then you got TNT and Dandelion. Woof! That's going to be hard.
Just forget it. That is so hard. All right, then on Sunday, Chaos Theory versus DragonX. The winner of that faces OPGG Sports. The winner of that one has to go through the buzzsaw that is Fav Gaming right now. Nobody can beat them in 2v2. Jack is playing incredible in 1v1s. This is a meta that I definitely feel like favors him. So this is the Jack time, and also just their 2v2 is just it's so good. I don't even know.
It just looking at it objectively, it looks like the A side, the one side, I guess, is more difficult. OGN Sandbox, right? That's a more difficult mountain to climb. But OPGG are an incredible team. Fav Gaming, the best team of the league so far with the best 2v2, which we've seen time and time again, does dictate who wins the match.
Yeah, it seems like it's so important to have success as a Clash Royale League team. Those 2v2s have to be good. Saw it with Ponos previously when they were really good. Now we're seeing it with Fav. Tell you what, guys, that is going to be it for us. Thank you so much for joining us today. We will be back Saturday at 7 p.m. Korea Standard Time for the playoffs, the second round coming up.